Hi, everybody. Okay, today I'm going to continue on, well, a little bit into the cattle baron ball. That was what Candace Owens brought up. Um, I don't think she's really getting the picture there because this is all, you know, Erica Kirk, uh, social climbing, honey pots. I mean, all of that has to do with social climbing, whether it be these debutante balls, this cattle baron balls. I was going to say robber baron balls. That's the same thing. Um, in fact, these type of balls. It was the debutante balls, Queen Charlotte's ball, which was started in 1790. In England, just as the American Revolution was starting on our side of the pond. King George III, he had a ball for, Queen Charlotte's birthday party in this ball, and it became the ball where young women would be, opening the season of presenting young women to society looking for a husband for them. I mean, this is trafficking women. I mean, okay. I remember when I was with the whole debutante ball shit. I'm like, yeah, Cornelia Guest, she was relaunching the debutante balls as Deb of the Year in 81, 82, while I was the reluctant debutante. And then she made a career out of it for the entire decade. And then when she became an old maid, she threw away her furs. God, threw out her furs and um posed naked on all of these magazine covers. I'd rather go naked and start her animal rights campaigns and rebranding herself as the socialite. I mean, all of you social media influencers, you're just following the lead of a high school dropout. And you think you're also smart and intellectual. Gosh. So anyway, I keep on pointing out to Cornelia, um, animals have more rights in this country than children because of ladies like you and your mother and all of the Capote swans and all of the robber baron heiresses and the Kennedy ladies. And I mean, the McCains. I mean, in Arizona, the McCains took the lead. I mean, the Reagans. See, the thing is, it was Nancy Reagan's mother who was there, so that's the connection of Ronald Reagan getting into the White House and the deep state, the military industrial complex with the Star Wars. I mean, God, it's all so clear now. Huh. See, this is the thing with this Jordan Henshaw. I mean, I really, that pissed me off. I was like, you snot-nosed little brats. I'm sick and tired of snot-nosed little brats. I am an old lady who has seen and heard it all. Baron Coleman this evening as well. He was going, how many people know anybody who's been kidnapped, trafficked? I'm like, oh, I know a lot. And that was like before I got into the whole family court stuff. I lived in Colombia. I had a bodyguard, bulletproof car. Every family I knew had when we got there. I was like, every family we meet has had somebody who's been kidnapped by the guerrilla. Ingrid Betancourt, who's here. Am I sharing? Hold on. Yeah, I'm sharing. Ingrid Betancourt. I mean, Ingrid for president 20. Oh, I forgot to put the 20 because it was 2002 and 22. I mean, like all of this. I want to become president. I want to become president, make it in a man's world. All of this bullshit. you know, I'm like, Ingrid, if you hadn't been sitting in your ivory tower over in Oxford, uh, and paying attention of what's going on in the world, then you'd be sitting president in Colombia right now. And well, maybe we wouldn't be having the problems in Venezuela, although with you for president, I mean, well, you know, if you had contacted me, you would have been smarter. So anyway, I mean, you and your sister know about the whole thing. I mean, this whole stuff with tripping the prom queen and the mommy wars. This goes with Bogota ruling elite with me because I mean, I never realized how much the career women absolutely despise and the misogyny towards stay-at-home moms. Oh, have I learned that in the past 20 years? I mean, personally, and in terms of professionally, in terms of my research into family court reform, and how the the feminists, they call themselves the women's rights groups, but they're not. They're feminist groups. In fact, they're degrading the rights of women. Um, and the domestic violence. I mean, they are the worst in the world. I mean, there's a whole article of one of the things, the trad wife of Erica Kirk, and they attack her. I'm the only one who got out and jumped in. I'm the only one on LinkedIn, and I'm the only one who jumped in and started defending her and saying, what are you saying? No, like Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. I mean, all of these women, they're too busy on podiums. Everybody gets into managerialism. Don't I have managerialism? Yeah, here. The managerial revolution. That was the sorry, gotta get some water. That was in 1941, James Burnham, a Washington insider, he said it's not communism versus capitalism, it's managerialism. And so what do? Oh, we got into another war and more wars and more wars, and brought a whole bunch of managers, not only in economics, lawyers, to screw things up, but DOD and all of these like CIA people, and this is what has got to be drained. I mean, it's a shame. Candace was even like, with Mitch Snow. I don't care about his case. We've got the thing with Andy Biggs, Trump, and Jim Jordan. I mean, there were obviously others, but this kid, I mean, he's saying these are the three I can name. Where are all of the feminists on every woman should be believed? Now, I believe this kid. I don't think somebody's going to make that up. I mean, I assume he has been put into some safe place. I hope outside the country. Because I mean, this is serious shit. Real serious shit. So, but if we don't deal with this, I mean, Baron Coleman, he's like, well, no, we're not going to have a nuclear, Holocaust and war and complete self-destruction of the country. In his lifetime, no, that's what we're looking at. It's either going to be some, well, as I say, from nuclear fallout and that type of scenario, the little green men up there, or gray or whatever, I mean, they have blocked the nuclear launch missiles. And Bustamante talked about this, so I'm not making this up, and I'm not crazy. Go in his interview with Joe Rogan. He talks about this. So, there is the technology to stop us from destroying the planet like that, because of course, I mean, that speculatively, that's what happened on Mars millions of years ago. But that's the how shall I say it, all of the ancient alien theorists and things. That's kind of what the theory is. And there is some evidence for it in what they're finding in terms of isotopes, and I'm not sure, I forget exactly what it's called, but that is a good possibility. So anyway, and it is a good possibility. I mean, look how we keep on destroying ourselves, on battlefields and in our homes, and ourselves. So, you know, this has got to stop. In fact, oh, I forgot to put one book in here, and that's Riane Eisler. She was a Nazi Holocaust victim. She was a child when, you know, they escaped. Pretty much everybody's dead now. Um, but she writes about the power of partnership and a paradigm shift and all sorts of stuff. But even with her, I've reached out, but nobody wants to work together. Everybody just wants to get on a podium and give another speech. Because as Nancy Eisenberg points out in her book, White Trash, 400-Year Untold Story of Class in America, Americans have the race wars here, or the nationality wars, whatever you want to call them, or religious wars, the competition between all of the groups is not about race. It's about class, which Americans have interpreted to mean the accumulation of wealth and privilege and elitism. And this is precisely what the founding fathers were against. And Cornelia Guest was used to sell that elitism. I mean, her godmother was Wallace Simpson. Wallace Simpson had been negotiating with Hitler to put is it Albert or Edward? I always forget. I never forget her name, on the throne after Germany invaded England. So this is a doggy dog world, and I keep on telling everybody, when I read The Prince when I was at Foxcroft, it was for English Lit. I was like, oh yeah, this is the way the world works. I mean, and everybody was like, Machiavelli, oh, he's so evil, he's so evil. I'm like, no, he's not evil. He doesn't agree with this. He's just saying, if you want to win, this is how you got to play the game. I mean, I told everybody, oh God, I mean, Nicole King, I can't believe it, in Marbella. She was my neighbor in Madrid, and I told everybody. I mean, I was like, "You fuck with me, and I'll fuck with you, and you fuck with my kids, and I'll really fuck with you." And I mean, I don't look for a fight with anybody, but you look for a fight with me, and I'll fuck with you to the end. I mean, you think a pit bull with lipstick? I mean, that was the funny thing. Here you got Sarah Palin running with John McCain. If my mother, no, she was hoping that I'd be killed, and then she could blackmail my husband and get money out of my husband. Oh my goodness. I can just imagine how, well, my husband was going to pass it off at suicide. So I'm sure, oh, okay, we'll do the whole suicide thing. You give us money and we're going to start a nonprofit, and everybody would have made a ton of money. I mean, this is the reality of the world, ladies. So stop, getting on podiums, and touting the Christian, how shall I say it? You got to believe in Jesus Christ. You got to believe to be a good person. I mean, Baron Coleman was like, if you're not a Christian, I'm not voting for you. I was like, well, okay. I agree with him, but no, I don't agree with him for the reasons that he is giving. Um, I mean, I agree with him in that this, the United States is being overrun by foreigners who have absolutely, I mean, already it's a problem with Americans who've been here for generations and generations who came, on the frickin' Mayflower. I mean, that's a figure I tell because not everybody came on the Mayflower. There were only like a couple hundred, but you get my drift. And then you got the Puritans, the Quakers, and then you got the South. So don't even give me that. But who came here in the beginning to get away from the oppressive English, who fought the American Revolution. Now, look at all of those names. None of them around. Ever since right after that, the robber barons jumped in after the robber barons, and those are Dutch. They're English colonists. Those are the frickin' Dutch who had New York. So they're foreigners as well. And then it was just followed everybody. Then we got the Catholics coming in. The Catholic, Megyn Kelly, the Catholic Irish, the Catholic Italians. I mean, my Italians, I think was, what's her name? Carol. What was that? Rob Reiner, the show that he was in, All in the Family, with Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker with it was the actor was Carol. I forget. But anyway, I mean, when Rob Reiner's son ends up killing him, oh, that's another case that's just out of control. It looks like the kid, they were saying, oh no, this is definitely, I forget if it's not opioid, it's some one of those drugs. I can't keep up. But this is a result of that, and he'll probably not even remember. He's totally out of it. I mean, when that happened, I was like, well, isn't this funny that Meathead, that's what Rob Reiner, that's what Archie Bunker called his son-in-law, the liberal, the hippie liberal and stuff, uh, it's precisely the stuff that he was advocating that ends up with somebody like his son in real life, who then kills his parents. I mean, so yeah, I'm getting a little tired of this, Catholic, or well, excuse me, but Christian and Bible tapping people, uh, who we've got pedophiles all over the place. My lord, this Sasha Riley thing. I don't hear anybody talking about that. Um, the new Jim Crow. When Ingrid is advancing her career as senator and trying to become president back in 2000 at the turn of the century, 2001 to 2002, in 1999, I'm at the American embassy asking the American government and State Department and ambassador, excuse me, well, Plan Colombia, you're going to spray here. Well, if you get rid of the production here, it's just going to go elsewhere because you guys, the consumption keeps on rising. So what are you going to do to get rid of the consumption? Oh, well, what do you care, lady, as long as we get rid of it here? I mean, that's the attitude. And of course, I'm the only one, the American, saying anything, because the American school in Bogota, that's where the drug problem is the worst. Everybody knows it. Oh, and I can't say that Bogota and Cartagena, well, I've heard about what's been going on in Cartagena in the past 20 years. It's become another jet set place, just like Marrakesh. I adored Marrakesh before it was overrun by all of that. And I'm sure I wouldn't even want to go to Cartagena these days. I mean, already when we went there, the prostitution problem was bad enough. I mean, that's why my older sister, she said, yeah, Peter kept on going on trips to South America she was like, no, I preferred we go and live there so I can watch what's going on. Yeah, well, didn't work out too well. But anyway, so this is all very, very, very hypocritical, and unfortunately, with women's entry into this whole mess, it's just made it more like vicious, beyond vicious. I mean, this is just ruthless, ruthless, ruthless. So, these are the name of this is the name of the game, excuse me. This is the name of the game. Everybody for themselves. And I mean, everybody since I've been back are like, oh, you missed the boat, you missed the boat. You left the job market, you missed the boat, go and jump off a bridge. And just like Alan Dershowitz's first wife, or Bobby Kennedy's second wife, Mary. Well, she hung herself instead of jumping off a bridge. Same difference. But yeah, that's not happening. And I keep on pointing out to all of you little bitches, like Sharmini Curry, Sharmini Curry, Adrian Thapa, Gina Paoni, stop with the gaslighting everybody that I know, all of my family and friends, saying, well, it is what it is, and you're just a sacrificial lamb to pay for the sins of our men, like Bill Clinton, like Andy Biggs, Trump. No, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to all of the corruption and raping and trafficking and stealing and extortion and murdering people. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. And see, this is precisely the problem. I'm not turning a blind eye to it, and that's why I'm canceled. But then all of the little ladies that I know, and the men, I mean, it's the women who set the morality. We have the laws. It's not a question of laws. It's a question of the complete immorality that the prep school, the Ivy League frat boys and sorority sisters. The sorority sisters are much worse than any frat boy. Have been promoting since the 1950s. I mean, before that, but for our purposes, we want people who are alive who can take to court. I'm not looking to put any corpses in prison. If they're dead, they're dead. Like that. There's nothing I can do about those people. This is the thing. If you want to talk about people and bring out evidence and whatever, as long as they're dead, we can't prosecute them. That's good. We're fine. We're fine. Oh, but no. All these little rats start scurrying around if you want to go after people who are alive, because that means their whole little house of cards is going to fall down. But so anyway, just to go again through this, the last video, it was the allegations of Sasha Riley of being trafficked in satanic rituals by members of the Republican Party elite, and 3 people that he named of having assaulted him viciously, is Donald Trump, Andy Biggs, and Jim Jordan. And he says, yes, he very much remembers those names because he was really, really, really afraid. In fact, the title of his testimony is, what is it? Don't worry, boys are hard to find, because the girl had been killed. And, for in the snuff film, don't worry, we don't do it to the boys because, we can get a new girl easy, but boys are a little bit harder to get. in this traffic and I mean, I've known about this for a long time. It's on my website. It's War on Domestic Terrorism that got hacked into, but everything's still there. But Taking Back America for the People, all of the documents, everything is there. It's been up there for at least 15 years. Nobody that I know, or that, the press that I have contacted, or anybody who has a responsibility to know, um, can say that they didn't know, because it's out there. It's been out there. I mean, sure, the fact that everybody is ignoring me is probably why I'm alive today. But you know, I that's in God's hands. Whatever. See, all of you belting, Bible belting, um, hypocrites. Uh, you believe in God. You believe in God. Well, He sees it all. I mean, this whole thing, you think that you can do anything you want and then just Hail Mary, Hail Mary. Oh, I believe in God. I believe in God. Put some water on me or something and we're good to go. See, this has always been the big problem that I've had with all of the religions. I mean, because they all have their rituals and things that expunge our sins, wash us of our sins, put put out a sacrificial lamb, whether it's me or Sasha Riley and all of these poor children that are being trafficked. Oh, they're white trash. Nobody cares about them. They're through the adoption system, the foster system. Nobody cares about them. So we can do whatever we want. I mean, God, I as I say, and in 2000, it was 2000 or 2002 that the Boston Globe came out with the story. They broke the story of the cover up of priests sexually harassing children. Well, the family court advocates thought that, oh, great, we're going to get the same thing about what's going on in the family courts. No, it didn't happen. I've been on the committee. I mean, I got thousands and thousands of names of journalists that are going to have to explain to themselves in court. We've known about this. I've got names of people who, up on Capitol Hill, all of the congressional members, I've been after them. Go on to my activism website, Taking Back America for the People, American Abroad Act. I have that filmed, but that was just about the Americans abroad, and that's my niche market, if you will. I'm all alone there, and I'm all alone. It's like, if all of these little ladies would work together, we wouldn't be here. It's all a competition, even amongst the victims, as Barbara Stone said to me. Can't believe, even amongst the victims, it's all a competition who has the worst case. I'm like, tell me about it. This all, sympathy, give me money for another nonprofit, or give me, a nonprofit, give me some charity money. That's got to stop. Stop beating your wives, and if something's going on, say, this is not happening on my watch. I mean, a lot of this is just the family intervening. For example, if a man starts getting out of hand, then the rest of the men, or even in the women, if you get a bunch of women up against 5 or 6 women up against a man, they can do a lot of damage. So, that this is not happening. No, 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 no. We don't want to get involved. Well, and then you have to file a police report. Then you have to go and complain to the police. Oh, you want to throw him in jail? Well, no, I just didn't want him to kill me or rape my children, or whatever the case may be. I loved it when Jordan Henshaw, he's like, well, have you ever met anybody who's been, you know, who's faked their own death? I mean, it's like when he was asking that, I was like, oh, good. See, this is one of the times my older sister and I call her up. Well, at the end, I mean, what she pulled at the end, that, yeah, whatever. But I'd be like, oh my God, you can't believe how stupid people have gotten. I mean, come on. Well, how many people do you know? I mean, literally people out there. How many people do you know who have faked their death? Please send me an email. I mean, come on. You cannot judge if Charlie Kirk faked his death or not unless you have known somebody who faked their death. I was like, first off, first you got to know somebody who died, obviously, but then you gotta know somebody who came back to life. I know, I'm sorry, but this is out of hand. This is out of hand. This stupidity. Anyway, okay. So yeah, so this is, this was the so Andy the Biggs family. There's the two older sons. You got the eldest from what is that, Parsons Design in New York. And I don't know what's going on there, but yes, very and he's into some dark stuff as well. So then you got the military son, then you have the daughter. She's here, and she died of cancer apparently, but her husband is the chancellor, the newly appointed chancellor of Dracula. I kid you not. Dracula in Europe with the vampires and all. Oh my God. So, yeah, so I went on, went through before he's written this Patrick Feinard or Feinard. He's written all sorts of vampire books and in the world books and, Hollywood movies. We see them all. This Scott Michael Helen, this is a guy, his father is in the Republican Party in Arizona, friend of my mom. He did vampire movies as well. So, yeah, so then there's the Farnsworth are connected to the Biggs. And now I found this out from seeing it on Cosette's, on her friends. But then I was like, we'll get to that in a second. Let's see. Oh, this I didn't go into. We'll go into real quick there afterwards. So, this was extremely interesting because I just noticed this and I was like, oh my Lord. Okay, so we also see the Farnsworth connection, which, if you remember, the Terrell Farnsworth is one of the guys in the Charlie Kirk assassination. He's the one who like jumped up behind near the SUV after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I mean, it was just weird how he reacted. So, okay. Andrew Stephen Biggs, born in 1958, is an American politician and lawyer serving in the U.S. representation as the U.S. rep for Arizona's 5th Congressional District. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. He was born in Tucson, Arizona. Let's see. When he was young, Biggs went on a mission to Japan for the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints and learned to speak fluent Japanese. Now, this is something all of these educational programs, and you've seen this through the State Department. There's the Fulbright scholarship. Um, the This is where Ingrid Betancourt, her father, had been involved with the Kennedy administration in the progressive policies of affirmative action for students to come to the United States. Now, this was supposed to be, they would go to college here and then return home to their home countries and benefit the infrastructure, and their societies and economies would benefit. But what happened was you had what they called a brain drain. And so you had all of these people, and then they would stay in the United States. Like 75% of PhDs, foreigners who get PhDs, end up staying in the United States. Now we've got an overflow of PhDs in this country. Out. Oh, and then Trump wants to bring in more. No, I mean the whole thing. Yeah, see, Trump is make America great. Are you kidding? He wants to trash this country and keep on turning it into a third world. I mean, he is totally in bed with the industrialists. And Andy Biggs and all of them. We'll see why. It's the military industrial complex. Arizona is completely in the pockets. I think more than, because you have New Mexico, which is on the border as well, but I think, and Texas, but I think Arizona is much because of the military installations there. So they've got to be cleaned up. I'm sorry. With my What is a Modern Woman, Annie Oakley is there for a very good reason. I got Annie Oakley. I got Scarlett O'Hara. If you remember her, she didn't take shit from anybody. And the South will rise again. And then you have Emily Post to bring in some manners and etiquette to the whole kit and caboodle. So anyway, yeah, all of these student, uh, programs, and see, this is also Bobby Kennedy's son, his eldest son. That was one of those bullshit things with Amaryllis Fox. Is these retreats. It can be these military things, can be a retreat. It's across the board, but it's all brainwashing, manipulation, to get them into this whole system. Oh God, it really is Orwellian. So anyway, okay, so he earned his Bachelor of Arts in Asian Studies from Brigham Young University in 82, Juris Doctor from the University of Arizona in 84, and his Masters of Art in Poli-Sci in 1999 at Arizona State, which Arizona State is the north. I'm pretty, is that Flagstaff or something around them? Let's see. Tempe. Not sure exactly where Tempe is. Okay, so Biggs worked as a lawyer for a firm based in Hobbs, New Mexico, before relocating to Phoenix. So it'd be interesting to find out a little bit more about his time there in New Mexico before going back to Phoenix, where he worked as a prosecutor. In 1993, he won 10 million. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. 1993, he won 10 million in the American Family Publisher sweepstake. Now, I'd like to look into this whole, family publisher sweepstake thing. When I saw this, I was like, I mean, come on, we all remember Ed McMahon, the big joke of you has just won $1 million, or was this $10 million? I mean, it was so often, it was such a big publicity that, it became a joke, a running joke at the time. Yeah, Ed McMahon, he's going to tell you to pay you $10 million. You just want it. Um, so this is rigged. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, this is rigged. This was set up, and we got to investigate now the American Family Publisher, the sweepstake thing that they got going on there. Because all of these things, the thing is all of them, it's moving money around to, with the think tanks to support, to manipulate the congressional members, all of the educational systems. I mean, I knew going into this after my own experience with educational systems, the British, the French, and the American. I've had ideas for reform, and homeschooling is not one of them. Not at all. I mean, if you're having an abusive home, this is going to be even more difficult to address those issues. No, this whole thing, no, I homeschool. Well, shame on you. You should be at the PTA. You should be on the PTA, on the board of the PTA, going, this is not happening in my community. Because it's not just your children, it's all of the children who live in your community. This whole urbanization, nobody cares about what goes on in their communities, or their families, or anyplace else. So yeah, Dick Clark and Ed McMahon. And see, the thing is also Ed McMahon, he was always with Johnny Carson. I'm almost positive, 99.99% sure he was. And Johnny Carson, his wife, was part of the Capote Swans. But they're in Hollywood. And I mean, Johnny Carson was, now you got all of these late night people. I mean, the social media influencers. I mean, before you only had one. It was Johnny Carson. He was the king. And now we got a managerialism at its finest. It's gone wacko. Um, and the problem, this is what I noticed now that I've been examining the podcasters in the past, well, now it's going on almost 6 months now, is the manner in which, oh, they sell themselves to the devil every single day, because it's like, oh no, I can't say this, can't say that, because they won't like me, and the algorithms. I mean, they're obsessed with that. Um, so that's having a huge influence. I mean, oh, well, then we're going to start another platform. Instead of fixing the problems that everybody's bitching about, no, let's just start another platform so we can have more people out there bitching about it. And then the corporations and all of these donors who want to keep those problems in place, I'll just give more and more and more and more money. So you get more and more and more people bitching and bitching and bitching, and making the people more angrier and angrier and angrier. And your pressure cooker keeps on getting hot and hot and hot until it's going to explode in everybody's face. See how it works? So anyway, I was like, huh, okay, that of course he sold his soul. That's when he with the Elizabeth April. I was laughing. Well, but I do say I was laughing when I was watching Dee Dee with got a podcast when they got with April, with Elizabeth April. Um, and he's like, "No, this is witchery. We're not supposed to be listening to this." I'm like, what is the Catholic? I'm sorry, you all. This is all spiritual, spiritual, spiritual. I mean, that's why the secular people came in. This is all voodoo. The secular people came in, but they're pulling the same shit. Their conventions, the human rights conventions, the constitutions, all of their rhetoric and stuff, and they're like, oh, these are really good people. Then you meet them. And you're like, oh, these are the ones who go to Davos. Oh, these are the ones, World Economic Forum. Um, uh, uh, what is it? Savvy Sabs was talking about that. I was like, yeah, okay, bitch about it, but do something. It's like, no, you actually meet them. It's just like with the churches. All sounds good when they're on a podium, but then see what's happening in their homes, families, and communities, and it's completely different. So, State House of Representative in 2002 with Republican Rep Eddie Farnsworth redistricted from District 30. Biggs ran in the five-way September 10 Republican primary, placing second with Biggs and Farnsworth were unopposed in the general election, where Biggs took the first seat and Farnsworth took the second. That's where the Farnsworth connection started. Because I was like, when I saw the Farnsworth name on, here it is, Terrell Farnsworth, on Cosette's Facebook page, I was like, what's that? So, and there are the Farnsworth family with the Biggs family in the Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona and stuff. And then there's Daniel Biggs, there's this Keith Biggs, these are brothers of Andy Biggs. Now, what I found, this guy, he's Mesa, Arizona, but that's still southern Arizona. He's a chiropractor. But here, what I was like, what? With all the stuff that's going on in this pizza. Remember the pizza? Where's our pizza gate? Oh, where's our little pizza? Our little pizza. There we are. Remember our Cabot Phillips and Pizzagate? I was like, what is this? Oh gosh. Okay. Do you want to give a life-altering gift to a struggling family in a poor country? Go to the giving machine and buy a baby goat for less than $90. Delivered. I love these machines. As I say, maybe you say, oh, I want to buy some food for this family, and here I'm going to buy a goat to send to this hungry family in some poor country. Or it could be like the pizza thing, and it's a code word for something completely different. I don't know, but I just was like, what? When I saw that. See, this is where women were more detailed than men. A lot of things, oh, it can be a pain in the freaking ass, I can tell you that, with women and their nitpicking and every single, but their little detailed oriented eyes can be very, very useful at times. So anyway, oh, I guess I should have brought this one up before when I was showing with the, I had meant to do that. Oops, at the beginning. Oh, I'm really screwing this thing up. This. Because one of the points that I had wanted to make with everybody with the managerialism and everybody wanting to be the chef and nobody wanting to work together and, do the nitty gritty and everybody wants to be in the limelight. Uh, you know, one of the problems is only, see here, this is IQ. So what? About, average, most people like 34%. So you have about, what is that, 68%, 70% of the world is average of an average intelligence. Um, you know, which they can basically learn, how shall I say it? Most things. I mean, they're not going to be learning super complicated math but most of the things that you're going to learn in high school up until college, they are more than capable of understanding principles, basic principles of law. They're more than capable of understanding. If they are not, it's because they're a bad faith and they're not listening and they got their head up their ass. Okay? So, as I say, about 70% of the people in this world are perfectly capable of understanding basic principles and basic, how to cook, how to clean, how to, without, having somebody over them. And what is right, what is wrong, you do this, you do that. So they have no excuse, absolutely no excuse when they're playing dumb. My brother was like, I can't stand stupid people. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't either. But you know what? I can't stand even more, and this is getting really, really worse and worse and worse, is people who play stupid so they can get away with crap. Well, we've all done that on occasions. I mean, who hasn't done that if they get stopped by the cop, over, a speeding ticket or something. Oh, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't see my, you know, whatever. So anyway, no excuse. The problem is okay, there's about 90% of people who have college educations and only 70% who really, well, you do have the 70%, but then you get into here. So yeah, so down here we're getting into, most people who can understand what they're teaching in college. We're getting to that full educating all of our population that is able to, and the lower end, they need to be taken care of. I mean, just like children, um, they don't have the cognitive abilities to make certain decisions and do the certain things, and they should be protected, not exploited. Like, oh yeah, in the society that all of these ladies want to produce and what everybody wants to continue. That's what happens to these people. And then you got to start nonprofits to protect them from all of the vicious, viperous people out there. And then you end up with nonprofits and charities all over the place. And we've seen that never works. Clean up your act, then you don't need charities, and everybody treats everybody nicely and everybody gets a fair play. And it's a capitalist system that works, and you don't produce prostitutes and drug addicts and weapons manufacturers in the process. Very simple. So see, so you have all of these, different statistics and stuff. I was talking to a statistician today. I was like, you know what I learned in stats class? As long as accounting 101, you guys can manipulate that crap to say anything you want. And it is, you just, you okay, you can't fudge the numbers, but you can pull out the numbers that you need to make your point. But everybody doesn't know how to use these tools at their disposition. So they just go around like parrots saying whatever anybody tells them to. So yeah, here you have all of the difference. You can see, I think over time, no, I don't, here. Yeah, no, these are just pretty much lately. I don't have any of the time there. But all of the different, like you have Asians here, the Asians. I saw in one statistics, I was like, God, the Asians are really getting educated. Or maybe they were getting higher level jobs. I mean, you see this when you look at the stats. For example, the Asians are getting, you know, affirmative action is giving them favoritism. Um, but they, particularly when it gets into like the PhDs and stuff, I mean, they get the higher paying jobs much more than the Latinos or the blacks or the other minorities. It's like, what's going on with the Asians? Maybe we should check that out and look at that with some of our Puritan work ethics. Because, we got to bring that back. So, moving on. This was, again, you can go back. I just had this slide in here because I did want to bring back, we're going to play this since we're with the whole child trafficking and all of that stuff. I'm going to be playing this thing continually. Hold on.
Foster care comes up all the time.
Right.
Every single speech I give. Mm-hmm. What about children who are suffering? Isn't it better to abort? And I'm like, okay, I understand you're coming from a good place. You don't want people to suffer.
Right.
But I hate to bring it to you, people will suffer. Mm-hmm. That's part of the human life. Existence, right?
With all of the problems and the manner in which, and everybody knows, I mean, this is not something that, oh, I didn't know. Anybody who is within these industries and says that they do not know, they need to go to prison.
Right? And there can be good that comes from suffering. Mm-hmm. But so who are you to say, like, just because you're going to suffer, therefore
there can become good from suffering? Beating the crap out of a child, sexually molesting a child, something good comes out of that? For who? I mean, listening to these two women speak like this,
life is unworthy of living. Like, you're going to suffer at some point in your life.
And how do you know that child will suffer?
Yeah, and how do you know? You're like assuming every single child. Yes, are there horrific stories?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. See? But the issue that I really have is nobody wants to do anything about it. I mean, this all comes ultimately within the federal government agencies under HHS. And this is maybe why everybody's kept me away from Bobby Kennedy. Because I'd like to know if Bobby Kennedy knows who I am. And that I was supporting him and the blogs that I wrote and stuff. And I mean, I don't care if he knows that I wrote blogs for. Does he know the content of those blogs? It's on the my LinkedIn profile or not? Because I was always like, God damn it, another goddamn campaign that doesn't know how to read their emails. I'm so sick and tired. With the podcasters, I go off as well. I'm like, don't give me that bullshit anymore that you didn't get to my emails. You got too many emails. You can't read them. Fuck it up. You're earning all of this money. Get yourselves together. This is the same thing with all of the congressional members everywhere. Everywhere. I don't really have anybody helping me with the emails. Okay. I don't have as many as you have coming in, but if I was in your situation, get in, Carol. I'm sorry. There has already got to be software out there that you can get it. Go through my website here. What do you want to talk to me about? What do you want to talk to me about? What is this? What is that? What is that? And put that all together, and it's all organized. And do I have to respond to this? Click. Boom, boom. Are you kidding with the AI that you got now? I mean, with Zoom, they put together this stuff AI. I mean, all I got to do now is copy paste it, stick it in. Okay, I gotta read it because sometimes it'll be saying Quenby Wilcox said this. I'm like, no, it's the person in the video. Yeah. So it needs to be, but I'm like, oh my God, the time it's saving me. I'm sorry. With all of the technology that there is out there, there is no excuse. Absolutely zero excuse for anybody to tell me, oh, it's just, I didn't get your email. Well, you were served. Tough shit.
But not every child, like I actually got an email today from someone who saw me on a TV show and was like, I just want to let you know I was raised in foster care and it was, you know, it was horrific. And she was telling me, she was like,
it's amazing how they always see the emails of these wonderful stories.
I'm so glad I'm here because my children wouldn't be here and my grandchildren wouldn't be here.
Wow.
So yeah, it's so those the two, your two, where you struggle.
My God. I keep on telling Lord, Lord, please, please, please. And please, my sons, forgive me for bringing you into this world. I mean, patriotic housewife, she's like, oh yeah, we're not going to have any kids because of the world that we live in today. I'm like, well, I don't think that's exactly a solution. Oh, let them all kill themselves and we won't worry about it because we didn't have any offspring. Shows you where we are.
And yeah, foster care comes up all the time.
Right.
Every single.
So that was the end of it. But I mean, when I heard those two little ladies with that, I was like, I cannot believe my ears. Because as I say, if they're involved in this, and Erica Kirk, when she was in Romania, I mean, we all know what was going on. Was she involved? We don't have proof. However, as I say, you don't know, she's been in this game. She knows what's going on here. So, you know, and this just came up. This poll where Erica Kirk is speaking this evening, it's at a place where there's lawsuits against this guy, Paul have what's his more lawsuits filed against Greg Laurie and Harvest Christian Fellowship for abuse in Romanian orphanage. Oh, here, let me share this. So another group of plaintiffs, this time including 7 women, have filed lawsuits against California megachurch Harvest Christian Fellowship and its lead pastor, Greg Laurie, for sexual abuse. They claim to have suffered at the hands of Paul Havsgaard. They join a group of 12 lawsuits filed previously by men who say that Havsgaard abused them at a children's home in Romania, supported by Harvest Christian Fellowship. This is where our Kirk is this evening. Christina Bianca Popescu, that's what Romanian name, is one of the plaintiffs who filed a recent lawsuit. She claims Havsgaard repeatedly sexually abused her from 1998 to 2002 when she was between the ages of 10 and 15. Her lawsuit, like the others, alleges that Havsgaard was an employee and or agent of Harvest Christian Fellowship while managing a network of orphanage and foster homes known as Harvest Homes. See, this is, I mean, I'm sorry, all of you Christian groups and conservative Christian people, the moment you say to anybody, or not anybody, but you know, mainstream, like, oh yeah, it's one of these it's one of these churches. Oh gosh, well, is it a cult? Do they, you know, sexually abuse the kids? And you know, it's everywhere. YMCA, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, I assume. I mean, they want to follow they want to become like the men. They want equality. Believe me, this is where we're going. Her lawsuit, like the others, let's see, allege alleges that Habsgard was an employee and or agent of Harvest Christian Fellowship while managing a network of orphanages and foster homes known as Harvest Homes. Let's see, they operated in Romania. Oh, this girl claims that he would strip and spank her for his own sexual gratification, and that he did not intervene when boys at the home repeatedly assaulted and raped her. Oh, this was in 1998. So yeah, it's another, I mean, like when I was listening to Baron Coleman say that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, like, what is going through the mind of Erica Kirk and TPUSA? I mean, given with all of the rumors out there, I mean, like my mom always, what will people think? What will people think? I mean, that was the only thing. Image, image, image. I mean, these people, they don't even care about that. Amazing, amazing. Oh, and I had wanted this, I hadn't. Let's take a look at this because this was really something else.
Democrat policies have not helped me at all.
Yeah.
And so they're getting behind someone that they know did help them.
Mm-hmm.
They're realizing that now, probably.
Right. Did you see the articles and stuff about that? I don't know which house, but there was a bill that was involving some of the draft in there. They were talking about reinstating the draft, and then obviously the Russian subs off of Cuba. Did you see that stuff?
I don't know if I heard about the Russian subs.
Okay, yeah, there were like Russian subs. I think they said there was no nuclear weapons on them, but Russian subs that like were docked off of can subs be docked? I guess they can, right?
This is Andy Bigg's daughter. Here, I forget what was it here.
I don't know. I just like it better. I think it sounds cooler.
What's the why can the Spanish speakers not understand Portuguese?
Oh, she first talks about all of her
Really?
about Portuguese.
Okay.
I've actually been looking into it.
like how
your
she
house
traveled
shopping.
into Brazil and
No, like I've been looking into jobs. Like I'm not leaving my job.
But everybody, of course, in Arizona only speaks Spanish.
Myself.
Yeah, bring them to the U.S.
But I can't believe this girl is running for state senate. I'm like, my God.
Yeah. Become like an acai TikToker or something.
Yeah. You're just making bowls online.
Okay, this is good.
I
We're
like
making plans for my future.
Yeah, I think this. Well, you'll change the market here for acai beauty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we need it.
Yeah, all these little white TikTok girls who go to the current one will be coming to you.
So true. I feel like there's got to be some market for it in Utah with all the Brazil missionaries there. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
There's got to be.
I'm sure. Well, once I mean, there's already a bunch of people who are not from Brazil who like, whatever the fake acai bowls are.
The fake acai
yeah,
bowls. Yeah,
terrible
with
ones.
With their granola.
Yeah, what the frick is that?
Healthy.
This isn't health food, people.
Yeah, no.
This is dessert.
Sweetened condensed milk.
Yeah, that'll be your tagline. That'll be your tagline. This is not health food.
Brazil put me so on sweetened condensed milk. I know we know what sweetened condensed milk is, but they put it on like every dessert, and they have sweetened condensed milk ice cream.
Yeah, okay. See, I mean, I always just like
experiences where you're like, no, I believe this, but
this girl
then there's a lot of people who are like, that's crazy. There's no way that happened. Why would you ever believe that? That's silly. No one's gonna, God's not gonna come talk to somebody.
Yeah, especially not a 14-year-old boy.
Right. Yeah. Who has no education.
Yeah. But like the more I grow my faith and my testimony, the more I'm just like what better person to show their faces to than Joseph Smith without an education, and like just someone that had complete faith,
right.
and just read the scriptures and was like, I want to know, there's no better person to put that on.
And if you think about all the even biblically, all the people in the Bible, like not a lot of them were super high authority, well educated individuals. I mean, you had a few like David and there's like that council of boys who got thrown in the lion's den. Is that also David in the lion's den? I think so. Is it David in the lion's den? Daniel. Yeah, that's what I meant. And I was like, David. And everyone's like, what's David in the Bible? There is no other character. It's just David. But yeah, other than that, like, then you got these like random people who aren't super, like don't come from super, I mean, even Jesus didn't come from anything super special.
Yeah. I mean, you have Moses being like, I can't speak.
Yeah.
I can't speak to these people. And then God's like.
Which that part was always weird to me because he was like, in the king's house, like the pharaoh's household, like grew up in the pharaoh's household, and then he's like, I'm dumb, I can't speak. I'm like, how did you grow up in the pharaoh's household and you're dumb and can't
Why are
speak?
you judging us, bro?
Well, I'm just saying, like, that doesn't make any sense. He's like got the best access to like education,
Yeah,
and
I
he's supposed to be like the most
mean,
advanced. Okay. So is this just a like a church thing? Is being translated not a common like outside of our church thing?
I don't know.
I thought it was.
I thought so.
Yeah, I thought we weren't the only ones doing that.
No clue.
Enoch, Elijah, Moses, John the Apostle. Okay, so who got crucified upside down then? Was that Peter or Paul? I thought it was Paul.
I don't know.
I didn't keep
wish
up
I
on
wish
that.
I did. I wish
Peter.
I
It was
did.
Peter. Crucified upside down.
Poor Peter.
Oh man, that's a tragic looking image.
Yikes.
Jeez.
Head.
Yeah.
Yo.
Wasn't the story on that one because they didn't like he didn't want to be crucified like the savior because he wasn't good enough or whatever? Yeah, he wasn't like.
I mean, he was right, but
That would make sense. I wouldn't want to
I
either.
think the blood flow rushed to your head, though.
Yeah,
Would've been a lot.
I mean,
Did-
this
I'll
whole
just
thing.
avoid politics because it can be kind of a touchy topic depending on where you sit on the fence, or even in general. I don't know because like I was talking to somebody the other day, and I brought it up, and even they were like, "Yeah, I don't really, let's avoid it." Which for me, I'm like, I just always am curious, want to know. So what was that like? Because not everyone grows up in that type of household and is exposed to politics. I think everyone should be because there's so much to know and like be a part of. Like I think people need to be actively involved in their community and what's going on. But yes, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can remember, my dad's been in politics. I'm the youngest of 6, so I have all these older siblings. And before, my dad was a lawyer, practiced law. But I think he first ran in 2004 for the state House of Representatives. And so I was 4 years old when he first ran. So I only know him being in politics. And
Are you the youngest? Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
Okay.
youngest of 6. And I'm 6 years behind my next sister, so I experienced most of him. Like I was the only one at home when he ran for Congress, and I don't know. I feel like I experienced that probably the most being at home. Everyone else was kind of out of the house.
So you've been like right in the fire like the whole time.
Yeah. So it's kind of really all I've known. So it's never been weird to me. It's always strange to me when I hear other people aren't as involved in politics, but like understandable for a lot of people. It's like if you don't grow up around that, you don't grow up around that.
Yeah.
But I did see this one thing the other day that was like, you might not care about politics, but politics cares about you because like it affects everything you do in your life. And so it's extremely important to me to be involved, and easier for me to be involved also because of the way I grew up. But so he was in the state house until I don't know, a few years ago.
I mean, this thing, yeah, it's really extremely in politics because everybody should know about politics. I mean, I was just like, oh God, when I saw that, I was like, Lordy Lord, that this is who they have running for state senator because their father is a politician. So we'll get into, my goodness, I've already gone in for an hour and we haven't even gotten into this today. So this I had seen. Let's play this. This is what really pissed me off this morning.
Charge these Antifa-aligned individuals with material support to terrorists.
Okay.
The creep dude who was cheering.
Oh, yeah.
And then we talked about Katie Porter. So
Oh, yeah.
listen.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. So let me see. Like, what can someone explain? I actually am still curious what this is, though, because it's like, can someone explain what just happened here? And
What's the video?
well, you'll see shortly.
Okay.
You guys will see in a second. But we're also going to look at a string of things because, in case you guys didn't hear, there was a very big scandal when a leaked Telegram chat group among the young Republicans leaked. And out of 26,000 messages, they were able to identify a handful that were tasteless jokes referencing Hitler. And listen.
Tasteless jokes, he calls them, referencing Hitler.
You know, when we are chastising the left for wishing death on the Republicans, it's important that we find a counter story that makes Republicans look just as bad, even though anyone with a brain and 2 eyeballs and the ability to read can recognize these are 100% fucking jokes. So we're going to read the jokes. We're going to see the 2 sides' reaction, and then we're going to look at some things of like comparable nature on the other side to show how absurd this story being this big of a deal is beyond in general. Okay.
All right.
Because people are losing their mind over this. And like, listen, they said some dumb things, but like, oh yeah, hey, hi, my name's Jay Jones. I am running for Attorney General, and I said I want to shoot people in the face.
That's the dude. I've never even seen his face.
Yeah, that's him. And then this guy also says we should start murdering ICE agents. I don't think that's a joke, guys. Here's Don Lemon saying, go out and get a gun because you have people knocking on your door, taking you away. Oh, okay, so arm yourself and then shoot ICE agents. Okay.
So these are not jokes that he's pulling out here.
Cool. Okay. So we're just going to go through a series of these and we're going to compare it to what those kids said. Cool.
Got it.
Yeah. So we've got to start this by saying, see, the left is doing this. So, but what the left is doing, I mean, he didn't mean that was jokes, but what we're going to hear now, these are jokes.
Anyway, but if you guys wanted to support the channel, what would they do, Gabrielle?
Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're new here from our other video, say hi. We'd like to say hi to y'all.
Please.
Welcome.
Yep. And then we might even plug an ad right here. Maybe. All right, let's jump into this thing and let's look at this Charlie Kirk reel that is very weird, but I did admittedly think that this was like
From
referencing
the day.
the day. Yeah, watch this and watch. It's in slow motion. Watch this. So the police guy comes up and he's all, here you go, bro. That looks like a bag of powder. Am I wrong?
I mean,
That looked like a bag of powder. I mean, straight up.
He is passing something
very
off
sly
to him.
with where to put it.
Well, when
and
it's
the cop
when
rolled up with it like in his open palm.
Yeah, he probably didn't realize he's being filmed, but like to me, that looked very much like a bag of drugs.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
For me, I would think
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, we're gonna watch it again. I mean,
Could have been like
gonna
a
run
pack of sheriff stickers for kids. I don't know.
a bag of sheriff stickers for
I'm just saying,
kids.
plausible ideas.
Why would he hand them to him in a very intentionally concealable way, dude? Right?
Yeah.
Why does he do a handshake like
little-
that? Like
That's
that?
a
Listen,
pass-off.
guys. Hey,
Listen, Linda.
I wasn't always
positive?
a content creator that tries to keep my nose clean and such. Okay. I have
Really?
handed things to people before in a way where it was important no one saw me hand them to them because it was either illegal or shady. That is exactly how you do it. Okay. That is like par for the course.
Yeah.
Right. That's actually even
It
better.
is weird.
I haven't
than
ever
what most
done
people-
it, but yeah.
That's insecurity. Here you go. Huh?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know. So it's like,
and then boom.
yeah,
That is a very intentionally shady ass handoff.
that is weird.
Right?
It's really, really weird.
No one knows what to make of that. So
We
you
all
guys
think.
can tell us in the comments what you think. Okay. Oh my God. Is this
Yeah.
for real?
So
no, I'm not going to support you, Guardian ragtag.
Just no.
But yeah, I wanted to show you guys
Make
like
it go away.
no, they want you to, oh, could I don't know. Let's,
There's an
we
arrow.
can just go to the political article. Okay. So this is the original article. I love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. Oh my God. Gabrielle, I'll tell you what. Look, they used words like NIGGA and NUGUH, variations of a racial slur. That's not how that's meant, but okay. Yep. I mean, that's not a word I would say, but nonetheless. Okay. So
Yeah.
Gabrielle, I would like you to read the exact
Exchange
right here, because this is their big gotcha.
Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, and everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber. When do we start bullying, dude? We have a solid 3 people who can probably have them want to jump.
Have them want to jump off a bridge.
Okay, if they vote for us, why would they be gassed? When do we bring that side out? I'm so confused. I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man.
And they said, if they vote for us, why
We
would they
only
be
want
gassed? We only want true
believers.
believers.
Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in, take a nice shower and relax. Boom, they're dead. Okay.
Dude,
Taste
hang on.
it.
I laughed
funny.
at that joke too. I covered this
Funny.
in my video yesterday, and I'm like, I can't, like, that last one is funny, dude.
Funny.
Like that.
I mean, I was beside myself. I was like, how can you? I mean, I got fired and I have no recourse under the law because I represent white privilege and I've been canceled. I got fired because I was talking to 2 men and I know black men, and I know these 2 were not offended by what I was saying. It was New Year's Eve. I remember. And both of them had been sexually abused as children, and we had talked about that. And the issues and the problems and stuff. And I was talking to them and I was like, you know what? I don't understand why you guys always use this N word and like, never would. I mean, my father, my Lord, if that ever came out of any of our mouths, we would never wash our mouths out with soap. But I mean, you just wouldn't even have thought of using that word, particularly in his presence. I mean, that was like the most horrible word you could use in our house. growing up. And I mean, I'm sure that also had a lot to do with his relationship with Joe. Joe was somebody who lived with the family. My grandfather had found him. He was an orphan when he was after a hurricane. His parents he was floating in a boat. Both his parents had been killed. I mean, this must have been back in 20s or before my father was born, or around. I'm not positive. So anyway, I was like, why do you guys use that? And I came in the next day, and well, the day after the next day, because the next day was the first, and they said, you're fired. I was like, what are you talking about? No, you're fired. And it was a snot-nosed brat, black guy from Connecticut. I mean, this kid, he goes to AU. He's got the car that his father drives. I mean, this is not some kid who has ever in his life. The two guys that I was talking to, who I know were not offended at all. I mean, some clients came in and then the conversation ended. But I mean, I was also like, this should have been brought. I wish they had come into my defense, because I needed the job. I mean, I got a lawsuit against them. But I mean, and these white people, these social climbing, see, this is what gets into the white trash. I've been offered up as the sacrificial lamb. Anything goes. People can. I mean, I'm fit to be tied with my landlord right now. I'm sick and tired. You cannot. I've had this with the landlords all of the time. Coming in, showing up, coming in, doing whatever the frick. I'm sorry. You are leasing out your property. I mean, the rights of people in this country have been completely eroded, and these guys are laughing over this stuff. I mean,
that guy is funny. Like, again, he's the one who mentions Hitler too.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. Okay, like they're obviously joking. Like,
I mean, I cannot understand how somebody could get, unless they're being paid. We've got to do damage control. So I get a phone call here, do this, and you'll get lots of likes. We'll send you lots of money and stuff. See, this is the way the YouTube is working.
this is all obviously
Clearly joking.
clearly a joke, and they're like
Yeah.
among friends, and it's like if they don't vote for.
It's clearly a joke among friends. I mean, if somebody posted that, a friend, I would be like, I'd be calling them out like, you can't believe it. And if this was in my workplace, oh, and I'm the head of HR, oh Lord, oh, I can promise you, you wouldn't want to be those kids.
For us, they're going to the gas station. Like, do you guys understand? Like, this is what I'm saying. So this whole article is like, actually, let me read you.
This is normalizing, because the issue is, I mean, and Jesse Merl and his wife, I mean, I sent her a message on Instagram this morning when I saw this. So they got a message from me. I was like, excuse me? I mean, America First Legal, why has Stephen Miller not responded? Why have lawsuits not been launched? I mean, the lawsuit that I have against the IMF, Sharmini Curry, Gina Paoni, this gets into HR. I mean, you talk about sticking a wazooza. I mean, you talk about sticking it to the international. You complain about World Economic Forum, Davos. You can complain about all of the globalists. Do something about it. I got lawsuits. Boom, boom, boom. David Lipton, deputy managing director. I mean, these people hung themselves up to frickin' dry with the fights that they looked at and looked for with me. I I mean, it was incredible. I kept on telling him, back off. Do not look for a fight with me because I'm not going to go disappear. I will come out after you. It may take me a long time because I got a lot of people who are covering up a lot of shit. But I will, someday, we will see this in the international court. And you are crap shooting everything you got. I'm looking at serious prison time. I mean, I have written 10, 20, 30, 40, 50-page letters sometimes to these people explaining to them in great detail what they're looking at. And he just ignores me and laughs because I'm like, no, this is precisely what they're planning. Are you kidding? What was COVID? Extermination. This is what's been, I mean, Megyn Kelly, kill him, kill him, kill him. I mean, these people are out of control. And then to laugh about it because this is exactly what is being planned.
My favorite quote.
It's a little
Oh no,
poor taste.
it is in very poor taste.
It's a little poor taste. Now these guys live in Texas. When that between you've got Austin, Dallas, is it San Antonio or Fort Worth? All of that, all of that area, which has been really developing, and they live in that area. This is the cattle.
However,
this is the type of. Excuse me. Candace was talking about the cattle barons ball and Farnsworth and all. Was it Farnsworth or all of those? The connection of how the networking was going through that ball. See, these are all social institutions that used to be under the control of the wives of the men in power. And we've got, all of these social climbers. I mean, we'll see in the slides later with all
them framing this as if these are real
Death
comments.
threats or whatever.
No, like real comments that they love Hitler is ridiculous and completely not true. Like, it's
Gotta love the news these days.
This is, that's exactly what they're doing. And then listen to this. Hold on. So,
There's 2,900 pages.
Why this whole thing of, if it's something of our side, it's a joke or it's made up or, I mean, incredible.
Of chats, and that was all they had.
Yeah, hang on. There we go. Okay, check this out. The more the political atmosphere is open and liberating, like it has been with the emergence of Trump and more right-wing GOP even before him, it opens up young people and older people to telling racist jokes, making racist commentaries in private and public, says Joe Fagan, a Texas A&M sociology professor who has studied racism for the last 60 years. He's also concerned the words will be applied to public policy. Listen to this. It's chilling, of course, because they will act on these views. You're all, what? Act on these views?
Come on, man.
What the? Oh, they're going to build a gas chamber?
Good.
They're going to build a gas chamber. They're going to gas people if they don't vote for that, for their like little, young Republican measure.
Yeah.
You idiots.
I mean, this guy is so out to lunch about what is going on right underneath his little nose.
The group chat members spoke freely about the pressure to cow to Trump to avoid being called a rhino, the love of Nazis within their party's right wing, and the president's alleged work to suppress documents related to the wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's child sex trafficking. You want to know? You want to know what that was? Someone said Trump's too busy burning the Epstein files. It's a joke, obviously. Okay, obviously a joke. And all of the stuff that I've seen about Hitler,
like what? Why is it obviously a joke? I don't get it.
Or like Nazis are clearly fucking jokes. Okay, now. Then the guy apologized, like the guy whose chat it was, he's like, I apologize. He's like, I gotta be honest, I don't even know if these are real. He's like, there's 26,000 messages. You could easily have been doctored. I have absolutely no ability to verify whether they're real or not, or whatever.
Well, that it could perfectly, but if you have something like that going on in your thread, I mean, this is just like you are in a I don't know, either a public space or in your home, and people start talking and you don't say anything, well, that's tacit agreement.
So again, the idea, like, that's the best they got, dude, right there from a 26,000 message thing, is they got this where they're all, we're going to put them in the gas chamber if they don't vote for us. It's like a poor taste joke, but a joke that I laughed at.
Who was looking for these things? 26,000. I don't know what was going on there, but when I heard them, I was like, how can you sit there? Oh, this is real funny. This is real funny. I mean, I was floored this morning when I saw that. And I mean, can't say it's one of the podcasters that I mean, I enjoy some of the stuff he comes up with, but I was just like, buddy, you got an F today. See, these podcasters, they think that like nobody's watching. I even got here Megan Kelly. Where was it? Oh, Megan, where are you? I know I had her in here. Yeah, I'm not the mother of the internet. Remember when she said that? I was like, well, Megan, I am. So guess what? So, I already went through that. So if you want to see that was the Deep State 34, Lifestyle of Rich and Famous, Honeypot, Mandeville, that's Bernard Mandeville, an economist, and global SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. I keep on pointing out that the Sustainable Development Goals will produce the same problems as Reaganomics, trickle down for the same reason, because the purse strings of spenders and spenders and producers are held in the same hands of narcissists, psychopaths, who only want to go shopping and hang out on, in their private jets, having affairs, 100-mile club, and going and getting a new yacht. I've always said the only difference between a rich person and a poor person is a rich person has a yacht he can't afford, and a poor person has a car he can't afford. I mean, this overspending, over-indebtedness has got to stop, and it goes on everywhere, and everybody's just buying a bunch of shit that they don't need. So, but see, the thing is here, look, these guys know what's going on. Oops, hold on.
More nefarious than we realized is this picture of her ex-boyfriend right here. Given my background knowledge on the very famous lasagna gate, because this is her ex-boyfriend prior to Charlie. He works at the Daily Wire. He's an editor. He has a show on Daily Wire or something like that. And she now hired him at TPUSA to do campus tour stuff like Charlie did. And in case you can't read that, that is a tattoo on his inside of his lip that says pizza. One of the things that it is, at least widely reported that that they do is they have to announce it out. Like they have to make these big public proclamations that are like very thinly veiled, where it's kind of like, I'm telling the world, like it's part of the doctrine,
the initiation
basically.
or whatever.
Not even initiation. It's just part of the whole shebang. That's why they're always doing the same thing. They're doing the symbols and the the hand stuff and all that. All of that stuff is part of the doctrine, reportedly. Thing that has
so all of these having the pizza tattooed on your lip. I mean, 101, what not to do if you're involved in a child trafficking ring. Come and bite you in the ass at the end of the day. And that's the Clintons. That's the left. So see, the right and the left come together when they want to. And this is another thing. I'm so sick and tired um, the ruling elite. I'm like, excuse me, like Whitney Webb, she's ignored me. I'm like, excuse me, yeah, Whitney, we got all of the evidence. I've been saying for years. All you got to do is look at the book of Whitney Webb. We got all of that. She's done a wonderful job. Money trail, let's go. We need some lawyers in here. We need some politicians to back us up. And let's go after everybody. And let's stop throwing good money after bad. No, nobody wants to get involved in any unpleasantness, even with Bobby Kennedy's campaign. Listen to this with it, Candace Owens.
All right, guys, happy Tuesday. People in the chat already accusing me of being on colored people time. That's not true. I'm not running late. I set it for 10 minutes later so we could review elements. I know that you guys, like me, are admittedly going to be very sad when the Baldoni
colored people time
Reynolds saga ends. But not today, Satan, because I have another bombshell, and this time it is pertaining to the New York Times. Amazing. The emails you guys are sending me are just amazing. Plus, everything in my view hinges upon RFK Jr. being confirmed in the Senate. You guys know how I am, super crunchy health nut. But there are many people right now that are trying to stop the confirmation hearing from happening, including his cousin. This family, man, they got a lot of drama. His cousin has come out, and she is saying that he puts baby chickens in a blender. I have a lot of questions about that. So let's get started and welcome back to Candace. It looks like Justin Baldoni may have a very strong case against the New York Times. You're not going to believe this, okay? This pertains to data. You guys would describe this as metadata. I would describe it as metadata. I am hearing from my director, who's like super techie, that technically this is URL data. Doesn't matter. Let's just talk about what it is.
Oh, where was this?
Important evidence regarding that accusation, because you have to remember that Blake Lively filed her civil rights complaint. This was the huge explosion. She filed the civil rights complaint in Los Angeles on December 20th. And then within 24 hours, the New York Times had the scoop. They published the complaint in its entirety, and it definitely looked suspicious. Okay. But before December 20th, before December 21st, when the New York Times then reported on it, absolutely no one in the media thought Justin Baldoni was behind a smear campaign against her. This was like a very shocking filing. That came before Christmas. We're all like, whoa, what's going on? And suddenly she's accusing him of sexual harassment, and she's saying that he then orchestrated, along with his PR people, this huge campaign against her, essentially saying that everything was inorganic. People hating her. It wasn't possible that anybody hated her personality or her hair products because she's just so amazing. And we were like, wow. And some people, and by some I mean everyone, really, except for me, I was the only person in the entire world. Maybe there's a couple other people. But they believed her narrative instantly because the allegations were so strong. And I just kind of held fire because I don't trust the New York Times to save my life. Well, guess what? Yesterday I got an email from someone, another anonymous person, and they say, hey, Candace, you should check out the metadata from the New York Times big publication about Justin Baldoni, because they didn't think about this. But if you go into that article and you click before
this is
Blake Lively
like
filed her complaint.
Horrible, all of the
here have established themselves as absolute titans, as writers and
okay. So, but the point with this was, she's going on and on and on about, the ruling elite, and the rich people, and how all of these ruling elite have no morals or scruples. And I'm like, well, wait a second. The nouveau riche who are coming in are not any better. This I love. Oh my Lord. Okay, let's look at.
Just sort of silly. She was just sort of like always wanted to have a good time, never introspective, could never look back. She didn't want to talk about anything that had any depth. If you wanted to talk to her about anything you'd read, it would need to be real gossipy and sort of salacious in order to draw her attention to it. And I think that For somebody like that who isn't interested in philosophy, isn't interested in religion, isn't interested in art, isn't interested in anything that would grow your mind in the conversation and in the discussion of the topics, those sorts of people have to make a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to tiny little, microaggressions or things that she feels like are unfair to her in any sense of the word. Because that's how they feel alive. For other people who are more intellectual, the things that really rivet them are deep conversations with other people, deep ideas, expressions of truth articulated in beautiful ways. But for Ethel, who didn't really care about any of that, how was she going to feel alive? By picking small fights about petty things. Just sort of silly. She was just sort of like always wanted to have a good time, never introspective, could never look back. She didn't want to talk about anything that had any depth. If you wanted to talk to her about anything you'd read, it would need to be real gossipy and sort of salacious in order to.
Yeah. I mean, this is Bobby Kennedy's mother.
After hearing the horrifying news that Martha Moxley had been found murdered, Georgianne telephoned Ethel at Hickory Hill. My wife told Ethy that the Moxie girl had been hanging out with Tommy the night of the murder, George Terrian said. Ethel was a nervous wreck. Georgianne told her later that Ethel said that she was going to tell Ted right away. She also called her other advisors. She said, "We can't let this touch the Kennedys." Who gives about the Kennedys? Somebody is dead. A little girl was beaten brutally and seemingly more, if you look at the state of the body. And for Ethel's first response to be like, "Can't let this touch the Kennedys." Who cares about the Kennedys? Who cares about the Kennedys? The little 15-year-old girl was just murdered and assaulted and left in her yard like a bag of garbage. Can't let this touch the Kennedys.
Yeah, see, it's all white trash, white trash, white trash. All goes back to that. You're disposable. And, unfortunately, this is, the upper crust. This is why they have to have their mansions. They have to go fine dining and have all of this wealth and luxury around them, because it makes them think that they're not animals and believe that they're human beings and not just animals. And that's what they are. I mean, I'm like, excuse me, you cannot buy class. I do not care how much money you spend, because class is the way you behave, the way you treat others, and the way you treat yourself as well. I mean, if you can't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody else. So yeah, here we're at the end, and this is what I wanted to get into.
There's a photograph the public was never supposed to see. It's a grainy image of boys chained together, looking terrified. When it surfaced in the late 80s, investigators thought one of them looked a lot like a boy who vanished from Iowa years earlier. His name was Johnny Gosh. He's a 12-year-old paper boy who disappeared on a Sunday morning in 1982. No note, no body, no closure. Decades later, his mother receives a knock at her door. Standing in the dark was her son. He's alive, grown up, late 20s, shaken and terrified. What followed was a missing persons case that went deeper than anyone could ever have imagined. His mother uncovered evidence that pointed to something eerily similar to our previous episode on the Finders. They're a covert network moving children across state lines with purported intelligence connections. Her story was dismissed as hysteria, but when federal documents on the Finders cult began leaking years later, researchers noticed disturbing overlaps. 40 years later, the official story still insists Johnny was just missing, but the paper trail, the testimonies, and the late-night visit at his mother's door tell a completely different story. I'm John Genoa, and you're watching America's Strangest History. Tonight's a viewer request video, and we're following the trail from the Iowa suburbs all the way to Washington, D.C.
This is the story of a mother's search for her missing son that collided with the deepest corners of the American intelligence world. So, what happened to Johnny Gosch? In the early 1980s, West Des Moines, Iowa was a quiet, middle-class suburb. I'm talking tree-lined streets, unlocked doors. There's an almost palpable sense that danger lived somewhere else. Johnny Gosch grew right up in the middle of it. He was 12 years old and saving money from his paper route to someday buy a car. He loved dogs, sports, practical jokes. Neighbors remembered him as polite and always early to work. In a time before cell phones and 24-hour news cycles, a paper route demonstrated a certain level of trust. Parents trusted their community. Kids trusted the adults around them. Johnny's parents, Noreen and John Gosch, were active in their church and well-known locally. His mother often helped Johnny fold and bag the Des Moines Register before sunrise. Sunday morning, September 5th, 1982, seemed ordinary. Just after 6 a.m., Johnny left home with his wagon, his red newspaper bag, and the family dog Gretchen. Within about an hour, neighbors noticed something was off. Johnny's wagon was abandoned on the sidewalk, still full of papers, still perfectly stacked, but Johnny was gone. When Noreen called the police, the initial response was confusion. Boys Johnny's age run away all the time. He'd probably show up by dinner, but she knew better. Something was different. I mean, his money, his dog, his route were all left behind. From that moment on, she was
Boys run away all the time. I mean,
on a mission. Noreen Gosch didn't wait for police. Within minutes, she was on the phone with neighbors, reporters, anyone who'd listen. The community rallied. People searched yards, alleys, drainage ditches. Nothing. By the end of the first day, West Des Moines didn't feel so safe anymore. The police finally opened up an investigation, but not because they wanted to. It was because Noreen refused to leave the station until they did. Witnesses came forward. One neighbor, John Rossi, said that Johnny was talking to a man in a blue two-tone Ford Fairmont asking for directions. Rossi even looked at the license plate, but later couldn't recall the full set of numbers. Under hypnosis, he reported a few digits and said it looked like a Warren County, Iowa tag. Investigators never found a car or a driver to match, and later retellings had some conflictions over the state of the plate, another reason the lead went cold. So the license plate was a dead end. The car was gone. The driver was never identified. In the days that followed, there were reported sightings of a man following other paperboys and a car circling the same neighborhoods at dawn. But by the time police took those tips seriously, the trail had already gone cold. Around the same period, Indianola in Warren County had a string of attempted abductions of paper carriers that an Iowa DCI official said bore curious similarities to Jimmy's case. Now, this is possible context for why Warren County tags stuck in the investigators' minds, even though it never really produced a match. Noreen organized her own searches. She handed out flyers with Johnny's photos across Iowa. She went on television stations. She spoke to Congress. Most importantly, she never gave up. Noreen believed this wasn't a simple kidnapping. It was part of something much bigger, and she was going to prove it. From the beginning, Noreen Gosch believed that the investigation was being mishandled. Leads were lost. Tips went unlocked. Crucial hours had already slipped away. Now, by the time police expanded their search beyond West Des Moines, any physical proof of Johnny was long gone. Within weeks, a pattern started to form. Another Des Moines paperboy, Eugene Martin, disappeared under almost...
Okay, but see, the investigation, nothing's like un fracaso completo. Well, look at the Tyler Robinson case. That they are not... This is everything from missing children to murders. You know, we have all sorts of people who are on death row who didn't do it. You know, not only are innocent people being put in prison for things because of complete incompetence of police departments, but children go missing. Oh, well, they just ran away.
Identical circumstances just 2 years later. Then in 1986, Mark Allen vanished in the same area. 3 boys, same region, no suspects.
And look,
for many, it began to feel less like coincidence and more like a concerted effort. As pressure mounted, investigators floated theories ranging from runaways to lone abductors. But Noreen refused to accept the local explanation. Through private investigators and her own research, she started connecting the dots that the law enforcement seemed unwilling to touch. One of the most controversial figures to emerge in the case was Paul Bonacci. He's a young man from Omaha who claimed he'd been abducted into a nationwide trafficking network as a child. Now, when he came forward in the late 80s, he told investigators he had actually been present during Johnny's abduction. Bonacci said a man he called Emilio orchestrated the kidnapping using a blue car and a team that targeted paperboys along predictable routes. Now, according to his testimony, Johnny was forced into the car, restrained, and transported across state lines to a safe house in Colorado. He described an underground room. The walls were marked with children's initials. Johnny was kept there for months. He was photographed and conditioned to comply through threats and drugs. He also recounted specific details about Johnny that were never made public, like a birthmark on his chest, a burn scar on his leg, and a stammer that only surfaced when he was frightened. Now, those details caught Noreen's attention. They matched what she knew. Bonacci said the network wasn't a random group of predators. It was organized. He claimed it involved people who moved children between cities using fake charities and shell businesses, sometimes under the cover of training programs and psychological studies that later appeared in federal documents on the finders. He described buyers who were well-connected and handlers who used coded language to mask operations that extended from Nebraska to Washington, D.C. Law enforcement never substantiated his claims. The FBI dismissed Bonacci as unreliable. They cited inconsistencies Senator John DeCamp, who were already investigating the Franklin network. Their reports confirmed what she'd been hearing for years. Organized groups using coded communication, fake charities, sometimes even government fronts to conceal exploitation. Surprise, surprise, we see the same terminology that appeared later in the finders documents. Phrases like training exercises, data gathering, psychological conditioning. Now, officially, these connections were written off as conspiracy, but Noreen saw something that the public didn't, or couldn't. Clear patterns repeating across cases, across decades, and across jurisdictions that never compared notes. Now, if these disappearances were connected, who had the power to keep them buried? Over the years, a handful of disturbing artifacts surfaced. I'm talking photos, documents, federal memos. Each adds another layer to the story. In 1989, a packet of photographs arrived at Noreen Gosh's doorstep. Now, one image showed 3 boys lying face down, hands bound behind them. Another showed a boy who looked a lot like Jimmy. The same hair, the same facial structure, the same mark on his chest.
I mean, when I hear these stories, I think of my own sons and I mean, my God, to be a mother in that, I mean, I don't know how any mom could survive.
Investigators couldn't agree on whether it was really him. The photos were traced to an old Florida child exploitation case. Officials say that they predated and if they were, what did that mean for where he'd been all these years? Then came the connection that made everything even stranger. Within a few years, the FBI's finders files began to leak. Hundreds of pages describing a secretive group investigated in the mid-'80s for alleged child trafficking and intelligence ties. The language in the reports, phrases like training exercises, psychological testing, and data collection on children mirrored the terminology Bonacci used years earlier. Now, both stories mentioned transport across state lines, coded communication, and photographic documents.
Transport across state lines, that's FBI right away. I mean, this is one of the things that if it go second you get across state lines,
Documentation expressly labeled as training. To Noreen, it felt less like coincidence and more like confirmation. She believed the finders files proved that the kind of organization Bonacci described really did exist. It was operating in the shadows and intersecting with federal agencies until it was quietly buried once discovered. Law enforcement officials denied any link between the two cases. The finders investigation was closed and no charges filed. But to researchers and independent journalists, The overlap of the language and the timing was impossible to ignore. Then, in 1997, came an event that changed everything for Noreen Gosch personally. She said that one night, around 2:30 in the morning, she woke to a knock at her door. Standing in the dark was a man in his late 20s. He looked older, gaunt, disturbingly terrified. Behind him stood a second man who never spoke. She said she recognized the first man immediately. It was Johnny. He told her he escaped, but that he was still being watched. He warned if she ever tried to follow him, they'd both be killed. The visit lasted less than an hour, then he was gone. Police could never verify the encounter beyond Noreen's word.
I mean, I never would have let him leave. I mean, both of them would be killed. See, these people are still out there.
There were no photographs, no fingerprints, no witnesses, no evidence. But to Noreen, it wasn't a question of belief. She'd seen her son. And the detail Bonacci mentioned, the birthmark on Johnny's chest, that was exactly what she said she saw that night. After that, she redoubled her effort to prove Johnny's disappearance wasn't random. Her files, interviews, and testimonies became a living archive, one that tied together the abductions in Iowa, the Franklin scandal in Nebraska, and the Finders investigation in Washington, D.C. 4 decades later, none of it has been officially confirmed or disproven. Every document raises another question. Witnesses fade with time, and through it all, Noreen Gosch remains convinced that the truth was never hidden in plain sight. It was buried on purpose. By the early 90s, the case had become a national flashpoint. Part true crime mystery, part political scandal, part cultural mirror for a country beginning to question who it could trust. In 1990, Paul Bonacci filed a civil suit against Larry King Jr., that's the Omaha banker at the center of the Franklin credit union scandal. He accused King of abuse and trafficking. Now, these allegations echoed what Bonacci told Noreen about Johnny's abduction. King was already serving time for financial crimes, but Bonacci's case forced the courts to hear testimony about the alleged network itself. Noreen Gosch was called to testify. She told the court that Bonacci's description of Johnny's birthmark, scar, and speech patterns were exact, and that his timeline lined up with sightings she logged and collected. The federal judge, Warren Urban, ultimately ruled that Bonacci's account of being victimized was credible enough for a civil judgment, even though the broader conspiracy was unproven. Now, Bonacci won around $1 million in damages against King, but no new criminal charges followed. The ruling acknowledged Bonacci's trauma, not the existence of a larger ring. Still, for Noreen, the verdict was kind of a vindication. A federal court effectively said that at least part of Bonacci's story was believable. Now, if one piece was true, how much more had been ignored? The media reaction was divided. Mainstream outlets framed the case as a cautionary tale about hysteria and rumor. Independent journalists saw it as another example of powerful institutions closing ranks. The Des Moines Register described Noreen as relentless, obsessed, and unyielding. Now, these phrases were meant as criticism, but in retrospect, they kind of sound like badges of honor, right? By the mid-90s, the Franklin investigation was closed, the Finders files were sealed, and official attention shifted elsewhere. But Noreen kept collecting documents and speaking at conferences and pressuring Congress for transparency in both missing children protocols and intelligence oversight. To this day, there's never been an official trial or public inquiry focused solely on Johnny's disappearance. The record ends where it began, with a wagon full of newspapers and a mother who refused to stop asking questions. By the late 90s, the official case file on Johnny Gosch was cold. No new physical evidence, no verified sightings, just thousands of pages of letters. And
so it just, everybody knows what is going on. The internet is filled with documentaries like this.
The DC Police Department had dropped their investigation of the finders after they were told this was a CIA internal matter. The FBI also withdrew from the investigation, and this was confirmed by Detective Martinez, who was involved in the FBI. Clements alleged that the CIA had compelled the U.S. Customs Service to stop any and all investigating, supposedly because the commune was used as a front to train CIA agents. CIA spokesman David Christian asserted that this was all just one big misunderstanding. There was a company called Future Enterprises, Inc., and they were training CIA agents, And apparently one member of the finders just so happened to work there as a part-time accountant. The Washington Times reported that the agent provided documents suggesting the CIA was blocking investigation of the finders by the FBI and District of Columbia Police. They also said, according to police documents from February 19th, 1987, which quoted a CIA agent who confirmed the CIA was sending its people to a Finders Corp, Future Enterprises, for training and computer operations, end quote. So I know that was a little confusing. Basically, in 1993, the Department of Justice does this investigation because they feel they have grounds to look at conspiracy, that the CIA was involved. And the CIA claims that the only reason they would have any type of connection with the finders is because one of the members just so happened to work at the finders or the Future Enterprise, whatever it was, Future Enterprises, and the Finders Corporation. Apparently, one of the Finders members worked at Future Enterprises, which is also where CIA agents were trained on computers. But I'm sorry, it's a little weird that the finders had access to all of this computer technology that you really didn't have back then unless you had connections. You know what I mean? This is where, to me, a nail goes into the coffin. There was a customs report that came out later that said the CIA allegedly admitted to owning the Finders organization as a front for domestic computer training operations, and that it had gone bad. So if this is true, that would mean that, you know, because the CIA is claiming they just had one random person that happened to work at this computer place, that it wasn't any kind of front. But then there's other sources saying that someone in the CIA admitted it was a front. It wasn't just computer training, it was something else, and that it had gone bad. So if that is true, then the question is, what was it that had gone bad? And how much did the CIA know? How much did they know before they stopped it? Or did they stop it? I could keep going here. There's so many questions coming to my mind. So the CIA spokesperson was confronted about this quote from the customs report. Y'all said this was a front. It had gone bad. What do you have to say about that? Well, of course, the spokesperson denied this and maintained that there were just two connections between the organization and the finders. They said that Isabel Petty, Marion's wife, who died in 1984, was employed by the CIA from 1952 to 1961 as their part-time accountant. And in the 80s, the CIA used a company for its officers' computer training that happened to employ members of the finders. Petty, when he was interviewed, said that yes, his late wife did work for the CIA, and so did his son. His son worked for a CIA proprietary firm, Air America. So, you know, Petty works for the military, his wife worked for the CIA, his son works for the CIA. Things are getting a little messy. Florida's House of Representatives member Tom Lewis would also say to U.S. News, quote, "Could our own government have something to do with this finders organization and turned their backs on these children? That is what all of the evidence points to, and there's a lot of evidence. I can tell you this, we've got a lot of people scrambling, and that wouldn't be happening if there was nothing there." End quote. So I know that was a lot, but that kind of summarizes what was going on with the Department of Justice's investigation in 1993. But once again, my understanding is that nothing came from that. They weren't able to prove that the CIA had been conspiring with the finders. And now we jump all the way to 2017, when the Tallahassee Police Department's documents from their original arrest in 1987 finally became public. These documents were uploaded online and revealed a lot more information that had been hidden for the last 3 decades. There were a lot of other materials found in the van with Houlihan and Ammerman. And keep in mind, they said in 1987 there was not enough evidence to prove abuse or any kind of illegal activity. But inside this van, they found a few radios, boxes with food and clothing, a Chinese-English dictionary, a pack of Trojan condoms, photos of children, some nude, computer programming discs, and a document called The Ballad of Ballads, which made references to houses in Hawaii, Miami, San Diego, and China. And I don't know what was on these floppy disks, so I don't necessarily know if there were signs of like illegal activity, but it definitely doesn't look good. And I also don't know what these photos of nude children fully encompass. But there was also in this report the strange discovery of a computer in Tallahassee, Florida, not far from Myers Park. This computer was found by a college student named Robert Sorkin. He was just walking around on campus. He went to use a phone booth and he found a computer sitting there in front of the library. He took the computer home with him because, again, these weren't common to have back then. And he was kind of fiddling with it over the weekend, seeing if he could get it to work. And he did. We're not sure exactly what he found, but we do know that Sorkin found material that was so troubling, he immediately knew he needed to turn it into the police. And the police determined this computer was owned by the finders. Then there were also the children's interviews with police. We found out a lot more from these interviews in this Tallahassee report. Max, one of the 6 children who apparently hadn't spoken to police at all. You guys remember that? They said only Mary talked. No, Max talked too, and he had quite a bit to say. Mary and Max described some really strange games that they had to play with the men. There was one game where apparently the men would take off their clothes, and then the kids had to put them on and go through the pockets for money. Max explained they only removed the men's jackets. Another game was taking a shirt with holes, running away with it, and tearing it up. They also recalled women coming into the room with no clothes on. Lastly, Mary described a game where all of the children had to run down into the basement and hide for several hours. So I'm wondering if these games were one of two things, or both. These quote-unquote games, were they happening when the cult was actually doing something illegal, so they would distract them and have them go in the basement and hide? Or was it preparing them to like evade police? There's cult stories I've covered before where they would instruct the kids to hide for hours and to fear law enforcement. We talked about that on Patreon when I talked about Ervil Averin and the Daughters of the Cult documentary. So that is what this gives to me. I think that these...
So, yeah, you see, it's my point being, we can go on and on and on. Here's another. Here's with Sean Ryan. You know, like...
One was called Free the Children, and then they got investigated for child...
Yeah, like Ryan Matta with Patriotic Housewife. Well, yeah, you guys, here's another document, here's another documentary, here's another documentary. Oh, we know what's going on, we know what's going on. Patriotic Housewife, they were like, oh, we're looking for crime stories. They're like, Lordy Lord, do I have crime stories for you? Never contacted me. She was saying something, I don't know, that they were afraid of getting a lawsuit. I was like, well, ignore me. You get on the list of those I'm going to see in court under RICO, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and Enemy Alien Act. I mean, this is the cover-up of Jennifer Clay Shaw. Excuse me, Jennifer Shaw, the daughter of Congressman Clay Shaw, who was the author of the Missing Child Act. She's in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Ignore me.
And organ
harvesting.
Yeah, they rebranded and reopened under
Foxcroft. It says a place where you make friends for life. I'm like, with friends like this, who needs enemies?
different name. And then Kanakuk and Cross International still gave them money.
Holy sh!
So to all the Kanakuk donors out there, people giving them your business, you're funding this.
Organ of kids and trafficking and sexual abuse,
and silencing kids with NDAs. There's definitely thousands.
There's definitely thousands.
Yeah, so, only one in
silencing kids with NDAs. A child who signs an NDA, it's not legal.
7 child sexual abuse victims ever come forward. So that's like a conservative calculation. If the prosecutor this is just Pete Newman, remember, 1 serial perpetrator, 55 victims known at the time of his sentencing, prosecutor estimating a true count in the hundreds. But, 55 victims came forward in the criminal trial. I know of over 205 in our database right now, like Pete Newman related, and then way more beyond.
1 in 7?
Yeah, and then
50,
so then
that's
times that by 7. Over 70. So when you start following the money and seeing their goal is to continue making this camp a cash cow because it's serving Joe White, you just heard me say, like, they've made $11.7 million in that period of time, personally, the White family, through their church camp. That's where their heart lies. That's what they're pursuing. And it's in the name of souls saved, but at what cost, right? So then they have this thing called Kanakuk Haiti that Joe White started in 1991. And then they partnered with an organization called Cross International. And Cross International was also called Cross Catholic Outreach. So there's a Catholic side to it, and then the evangelical side. A guy named Jim Kavnar was doing Cross Catholic Outreach. Joe White and him partnered up. So it's like, Kavnar does the Catholic side, he does the non-denominational side of fundraising. Cross International is $1.3 billion in general contributions. It's the 39th largest nonprofit in the U.S. No one's ever heard of it. Like, I've been in philanthropy for 12 years. I've never heard of Cross International. And then like $1.2 billion of their annual contributions are in-kind donations and medical supplies. But then when you talk to people who have flown to Haiti with Joe White or gone on these Kanakuk Haiti trips, and I've obviously talked to a lot of them at this point, they're like, we were handing out Ziploc bags with like candy and toothbrushes. I'm like, that's not $1.3 million worth of medical supplies. They're like, no.
What are they doing with the medical supplies?
Are there even medical supplies?
Or are they fucking selling them? Like,
I don't even know if they exist. I mean, so now the claim is that they are the primary source of funding for over 6,000 kids in Haiti who would starve to death if not for Joe White. And they go on these mission trips. And Cross International, they would give some of this money I was mentioning to Cross International as a pass-through. But then some of it, like to the tune of $6 million, just directly wired to Haiti. Or sorry, sent by check according to their 990 form. They're sending checks to Haiti to these divine shelter schools. So I sent some people to get ground truth on this whole thing. And at first they were like, well, a few of these schools they mentioned serving don't exist. There's not even roads to get there.
This sounds like Minnesota.
Yeah. And then we kept...
Except it's Haiti, which is weird. Not that different.
Yeah. But this is an American ministry church sending millions of dollars to Haiti to feed the children. And on their website that they just refreshed, it's not like we're going off of historical information. They very recently updated the Kanakuk Haiti website. And they say, well, yes, this was started by Pastor Edmund or someone, and then mention another pastor. And they're both dead. And so like, who's running Kanakuk Haiti or like with Cross International on the ground in Haiti? These 2 pastors mentioned on your website that have been running things, they're dead. This person on the ground was a whistleblower for where this money was going. And they felt like they had to flee for their life when they told us what was going on with these organizations that Cross International and Kanakuk Haiti are funding. And I won't say where they ended up, but I'm glad they're safe and I hope they stay safe. But these were organizations. One was called Free the Children, and then they got investigated for child trafficking and organ harvesting.
Yeah.
Organ harvesting.
Yeah. And then they rebranded and reopened under a different name, like Overture International or something. And then Kanakuk and Cross International still gave them money.
Holy shit.
So to all the Kanakuk donors out there, people giving them your business, you're funding this.
Organ harvesting of kids and sexual trafficking and sexual abuse and rape.
And silencing kids with NDAs.
Yeah. And then silencing the kid with a fucking NDA.
Here's the numbers on that. 1.5 million to free.
Silencing kids with NDAs, as I pointed out in the comments in this thing, an NDA signed by a child is not legal. It's not legal. So here, let's listen to Savi Sabs.
Of power as company. We've talked about them multiple times before on this show. He also is trying to play into this. He's talking about global elites, this problem with global elites. All of a sudden, this billionaire all of a sudden has a problem with global elites. Listen to this.
We believe that outside the United Nations, this is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time. For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, it has to regain that trust.
So he's talking about global elites, right? So you see what they're starting to do? They're trying to make you think, okay, we hear where you're coming from. We hear you. But Larry Fink is a global elite. Is Larry Fink going to say, you know what? I don't think it's right for me to be a billionaire anymore. I'm actually going to pay workers what they're owed, and I'm not going to be a billionaire anymore. I'm going to give my wealth, I'm going to distribute my wealth in such a way so that I am no longer a billionaire. No, of course, he's not going to do that. So if you have critique of global elites, he would obviously start with himself. But he doesn't want to do that. This is how you know they're not serious. It's just like they're just repeating the rhetoric that they're hearing, because the reality is they know that America is on the decline. They know it. And honestly, they probably knew it before we.
Is whoever gets into power, they become exploitative of their workers. If everybody, you wouldn't have this, extreme difference in income from the poor and the rich. If the rich were paying decent wages to their workers, and then they wouldn't have to give all of this money to charities to ease their consciences. But everybody who gets into power, I'm not going to be the chump. I'm just playing like everybody else.
We did. And they've been trying to convince us that it's the exact opposite. And they can't do that anymore. So now they're using our rhetoric. Here's another clip of him here. Larry Fink said at the WEF that the main objective.
Look at all the minorities and foreigners in the United States. I mean, and they have dug themselves into a very deep hole because with all of the crap they have pulled, they've set themselves up to have their assets seized and thrown out of the country. I mean, we can pay off the debt, the $39 trillion debt, public debt that the country has. Easy breezy to pay that off.
Objective of the WEF is to expose the public to a broad range of voices and ideas. So now all of a sudden, he wants people to hear different voices and different ideas.
That's the goal of this year's World Economic Forum at Davos, to expose people to wider ranges of voices, to a wider range of ideas, maybe even an argument, but one that we have deeper understanding from. And I think not all of it's going to sound as good as the one that you enjoyed at that moment, like a new.
I wanted to see the IMF and the World Bank, which is the World Economic Forum. They do go to all of this, and it's the spring. You have the IMF and World Bank spring meetings and annual meetings. It's all bullshit. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. I want to see a congressional hearing. I don't care if this gets into some, court system, into some congressional investigation or what, but this has got to be looked at, and everybody needs to be held to account. These people are crazy and out of control.
Music. And like in music, you're not going to agree with everything. But if you're willing to listen, it might leave something with you inside. It might stay with you, and maybe you'll evolve and be better for it. And that's the mission of the World Economic Forum this week in Davos.
So all these years that they've had the World Economic Forum with billionaires and these political leaders, now all of a sudden, Larry Fink thinks, well, we should probably hear from other voices. Like, it's just crazy. For years, these people have gotten together and they have decided.
It's all bullshit. All of these things, it's just a party. They pick a theme. You got a bunch of secretaries who run around like chickens with their heads cut off for a couple of months, putting together all of the pamphlets, all of the material. And then it just, everybody gets together and they sit there and everybody talks. And then they go to parties and then they go home. It's all a facade. It's all just a waste of money. And so these people, oh gosh, I wasn't on the video. Shoot. It's all just a waste of money.
Decided what our future is going to be. They never cared about hearing from other voices before, but now all of a sudden it's let's hear from other people. Maybe there is a problem with these global elites, but you're a part of the global. You're the global elite. It's not us. We're not at Davos. We're not there.
But wait a second. See, she's like, it's not us. Yes, she is. She's got a voice. Stick me up on her podcast. You guys start passing me around on the podcast. The journalist has shut me up. Give me a voice and say, okay, this one. I got all sorts of names that I want to see in court or in an investigation. And it includes Christine Lagarde and the present Kristalina Georgieva, who's the present head of the IMF. They all want to shut me up because they know exactly what they know what they're doing is wrong. But what am I going to do? They just ha. I even went to the bank today.
Hey folks, it's Dave Neal here.
Everybody knows. I'm like, everybody, all of your colleagues just keep on digging holes deeper and deeper and deeper. And they're like, well, whatever. Hopefully I'll get out of here, get my pension before everything falls apart.
We have an update on Candace Owens versus Brigitte Macron, the defamation lawsuit that is going down. 220-page lawsuit filed by the First Lady of France, claiming that Candace Owens has been defaming her. Well, now Megyn Kelly, of course, talks about it, as everybody is. And Candace calls Megyn Kelly a coward. We have Megyn Kelly's response. I'm going to share with you guys 3 different notable clips from that conversation. You can judge for yourself.
Some of these people, they won't let you do this, go faster.
If you think Megyn was a coward in her coverage. So it starts here with Candace Owens calling out Megyn by saying, from transgenderism to COVID, Megyn Kelly has consistently been on the wrong side of every issue. She thinks she's smarter than her audience, but she isn't. She is being destroyed in her own comment section for trying to do a hit piece on me in defense of Brigitte Macron. Again, I'm going to share what Candace had to say. You guys can decide if it's a hit piece. I will say this, though. Sharing a comment section is not any proof whatsoever. I've learned this having read comments in my very measured and I believe centrist coverage of this case. But Candace then goes on to say, discussing a series while consciously choosing not to show even 1 minute from that series, while also admitting that you never watched it, makes you a coward at best. At worst, an unwitting defender of an orbit of PDF files is what we'll call it. Adam Gross says, do you even listen to it? It wasn't a hit piece. Well, I'll let you guys judge for yourself. But first, Megyn responds and says, actually, this segment was very fair to Candace Owens with straight legal analysis of Macron's claims. If anything, I was skeptical about them arguing Candace really seems to believe her statements, which may save her legally. But some people spend their days looking for new enemies. Now, listen, the
whole thing that really, pissed me off here, and I even said something to Megyn Kelly at the time. I was like, excuse me, Megyn, because Megyn's like, I didn't watch Candace's, documentary on becoming Bridget and all of that. I have better things to do with my time. I mean, I was floored. I was like, you little bitch. If you're going to opine on something, you better inform yourself about what it is. I mean, here she is giving her legal advice with other people about the case, and she knows nothing about it. I was like, once again, we got the Tyler Robinson stuff going on again. You guys don't look at any of the evidence. You just opine off the cuff. Oh, I'm a lawyer. I know everything. I mean, I was like, how can you go on TV and talk about something and then admit, Megan. See, Candace went head on when her friend Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Megan hasn't want to become involved in any unpleasantness. So she stayed back the entire time. She's been playing nice with it. Survivor tests, and you got to work together because that woman, she is out for herself and nobody else. And I mean, her kids are going to pay the price. I sent an email to her husband because I was like, okay, fine. All you little ladies want to have it all and be the career woman. Well, that means that your husband has to pick up the slack. He wants to be the stay-at-home dad. Well, then you got to do the job of the stay-at-home mom, and that means getting on the PTA, getting in the carpool, knowing what's going on in the community, and being a nosy little bitch. See, women do something, and moving them out of the home and family into the workplace, society. It's been very, very detrimental. So here we're going to get to the end of this, and we will all be building upon this because, Candace Owens, she brought up this, what is it called? The Cattle Barons Ball. So the thing is, this was started in 1974. This is just before Dynasty and Dallas come out. And in fact, is it up here? Where my books? Oh, it was the first one. In fact, this book over here, The Narcissism Epidemic, one of the points that they make in that book was that it was Dallas, the TV show that became popular in Russia, that brought the communist Russia down, and not anything Reagan did or anything the politicians did. No, the wives of all the Russians, they saw the mansion of the Ewings and all the fur coat. Well, they probably had the fur coats before with how cold it is there. But they saw them with all of these mansions and all of this stuff, and they wanted a mansion like that. So that was the end of communist Russia. See, women who want to go shopping are the ones who control the world. And that's a very, very, very scary thought. So, yeah, I mean, these dumb bimbos, they keep on importing. I mean, so you have the American women, either they want to have it all and they're castrating the men right or left, or you opt out and you leave the country like I did and you look for greener pastures elsewhere, and it's a hit and miss in that situation. I mean, my ex, he flipped out because of what happened in the banking systems. I mean, yeah, he was a controlling macho husband, but never, never, never was I ever afraid that he would hurt me physically. Verbally, that's another thing. But I mean, I was like, well, the mother I had, the family I had, the siblings, my poor dear father. It's not right. It's not right. And this is, this whole thing of the cover up of sexual assault of children or of anybody, the murders, yeah, of course that's not good, but it's like that's normally perpetrated by the men, but then the women, their form of abuse, you want to cover up as well, because as the UN report, in-depth study on all forms of violence against women, demonstrate it's the women who maintains the violence. of the men by pissing them off or producing generation of violent, deviant men who can't stand women because their mothers were bitches and their sisters as well. I know. I saw what it did to my brother. Doesn't excuse what he's done, but it's why, and why all of our men are castrated. I mean, Tucker Carlson said our women are so crazy, the men don't do anything. So, at that same time, so this is 74, we got Dynasty coming in the 70s, you know, the advances of the civil rights movement in terms of labor rights, people's rights. This is not all of these fascists, you know, the guests, all of the New York high society, all of the robber baron heirs and heiresses, like Tim Mellon, they don't want any of that. I mean, Tim Mellon, he was Pan Am Capitan. Tim Mellon, he's got his hand in here. However, what the Mellons have failed to calculate, and all of the robber baron heiresses of Foxcroft who have been ignoring me for the past 20 years and haven't been one to come involved in any unpleasantness because they're too busy with debutante parties for their children. The foundation chair right now, Kelly Garlock, she's a friend with Eleanor Coy Durham. Now, Eleanor Coy is from Corpus Christi. She's on the board of trustees of Foxcroft, and she is one of the people who I want to see in court over what's going on in Foxcroft. And this is serious shit. I've told them, I was very, very, very clear with the headmistress, with the board of trustees, as with Cornelia. I mean, okay, I mean, sent an email to all of the different alumni of Foxcroft, but that's not my problem. It's posted on the internet. What's going on? They don't want to pay any attention. That's their problem. Now, in the case here, okay, so Cornelia now has moved to Dallas. I keep on laughing. I was like, she moved to Dallas to be closer to Hollywood because she's still trying to launch her acting career after all these years. She just came out with, oh, Canada. This was Richard Gere is in this one. So I'm like, you know, Cornelia, if she wasn't such a bitch, I mean, if she'd helped me all of these years, she'd be sitting pretty and be a billionaire with the platform that my husband wanted to kill me because Microsoft become interested in it. I mean, it's a crazy story. It's still a good idea. And I mean, it's getting better and better because I've provided, you know, the social media influencers and the rhetoric and the ideologies and what we need to do for the paradigm shift that we need and restore law and order and the rights of citizens to everybody, men, women, and children. I mean, I have explained it to, I mean, I'm like definitely the smartest student Foxcroft ever produced, yet they're all thumbing their noses up at me and saying, oh, well, you've been offered up as a sacrificial lamb to atone for the sins of us and our forefathers. I'm like, okay, fine. You want to play it that way? Well, guess what? You have just laid on the line all of the fortunes of all of the robber baron heirs and heiresses. Thank you very much, ladies. I mean, the crap that the Mars sisters is pulling. Holy shit, I just got an email from Foxcroft about the STEM wing at Foxcroft that the Mars sisters have donated $22 million to. I'm like, screw you all. Screw you all. Now, Here with Texas, getting into the little tiny state of Texas, well, guess what? Dee Dee Alexander, she was in my class. Matt's her husband, he was an Olympic rider. The King Ranch covers 825,000 acres in Texas. It used to be the largest ranch in the world. Now it's just the largest ranch in the United States. So you would think, well, the industrialist, I would be, this is a landowner. You would think that Dee Dee and the Alexander family would not want to lose that farm because they didn't want to be involved in any unpleasantness going on in Washington. But lo and behold, that is what they have done. So I have explained to all of these. I mean, Dee Dee, she went to Tufts. I mean, these are not dumb bimbo women who do not have the intelligence or the education to comprehend what I am explaining to them. Even Cornelia, high school dropout, she can explain this. I mean, when we were in school, when all of the professors were talking over the heads of everybody and they couldn't understand it, I could explain it to them then, so they can't say that they don't understand now. So, and then here, sorry, I'm going to finish this up. God, my voice. So here, I won't play it. This is Cher Denise again, explaining how Wallace Simpson was conniving with Hitler the whole time that they're fighting the World War II. And they're trying to invade England and they're trying to take over the world and stuff. She was going to be sitting pretty. She was like, oh, I'm going to be the head of the UK, the Queen of the UK. Oh, I mean, and this, see, Wallace Simpson was Cornelia's godmother. Sorry, godmother. The Wallace Simpson and Albert were the godparents of Cornelia Guest. They were really good friends with CZ Guest and Winston. The thing is Cornelia, she's crap shooting her fortune, but believe me, Cornelia and her brother Alex, he since she been ignoring me all these years, I sent a letter to him explaining it, thinking and saying, you better explain these things. Your sister was a high school dropout. Maybe she's not understanding all of this. You better explain that you guys are putting the family fortune and family name on the line here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You're going to go to the poorhouse and have to work for a living. I mean, screw you all. All you have to do is look at Foxcroft to see where this country has gone wrong. You got all of the robber baron heiresses, the old guard, too busy. Oh, I don't want to be involved in any unpleasantness. Oh, I've got to go. Hang up the phone on me. Well, go ahead. And then the new guard, because, okay, Coy Durham, Vicky Threlfall, gay with her adopted child from China. Oh, my favorite is, what's her face? She was in my sister's class. God, my blood pressure is going down and I'm not thinking. I can't think of her name. But anyway, she's a lawyer. She's on the board of trustees. Oh, best is she was like CFO or something of the company that she had helped start. She had to step down because of all of the bullying. she and the other woman have been involved in. I was like, that's not going to help Foxcroft too good when I get them all in court. And their courageous conversation was in response to all the bullying, was supposed to be fix all the bullying, but then they turned around and made it into some great success story for all of the Black women. Oh, I mean, it just crazy, crazy. Oh, and one of the Kennedys went to Foxcroft. Cindy Lawford's daughter. He was one of the rat packs of Hollywood. See, everybody, it's all, when you get up to the upper echelons, I mean, you know, Candace Owens, Sabi Sabs, all of these are, Cher Denise, oh my Lord, when she goes on about the ruling elite, I'm like, excuse me, this is what you're aspiring to, and you may be at the bottom of the echelon, but you're there, and you got a voice on the internet. You can really call them out. So you're getting into the territory of you have a responsibility to say something. So if you want to keep on ignoring me because you don't want to be involved in any unpleasantness and you're afraid somebody's going to slap a lawsuit on you for giving me a voice, which is really stupid. I mean, Patriotic Housewife, particularly, you should listen to this because it's really stupid, because the lawsuit you're going to get is for being involved in a cover-up. Now, if you gave me a voice, I'm the one who's facing the lawsuit. I'm the one who's out there. I mean, you can be like, well, this is just what she's saying. I'm just giving her a platform to say it. Freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Everybody else has freedom of speech except me. My favorite is one of the lawyers who got a letter from me. When I saw it, he got an award for like big champion of freedom of speech. So I was like, oh, screw you. And so I sent him an email and I was like, oh, well, yeah, would you help me and defend my freedom of speech? You're a lawyer. Chuck Tobin, I think it is. No, he just ignored me. I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know what, you know, it's really gotten to the point where everybody, like 10% of the world is going to have to give me all of their assets. Like, I'm like, you guys, I'm going to end up owning everything. I mean, the arrogance. Everybody is just, I mean, even my siblings, it's like, snot-nosed brat idiots that I work with, 18 years old. I'm like, and all of them, oh, we're the majority. We're the majority. Mob rules. I'm like, but you guys are not the majority. You're 10%. I represent the 90%. So the day that the 90% comes after you, you're not the majority. I know you're the majority who has a voice. That's because you concentrate the wealth and then you put yourselves on the airwaves. I mean, it's not easy. Excuse me, it's not hard to be number one when you won't let anybody else in the ring. So anyway, this is this is going to be a big project. I started by looking into, let's close a lot of these things. Yeah, here. So I started looking into the founder. Come on. and her name is Jacqueline Ryan Wynn. But okay, so she's born, obviously she's the second wife, because we have the first wife of this guy, Toddy Lee Wynn. I think I have his in here. Oh no. No. Okay, so but this was an oil man. And so, you know, typical story, second wife, his first wife dies, and she comes in real quick. I don't know, secretary, whatever. But you know, he was born in 24, she was born in 47. You do the math. So you know, um all of these men who always want 20, 30-year younger women, like I guess gonna have some more kids or something, but they didn't have any kids, it seems like. So anyway, yeah, so the thing is, so she started that in the 70s. So I'm gonna have to look, you know, who exactly was involved, because for example, I looked up, well, has Cornelia gone to this ball? No, she hasn't even attended the ball, at least Grok. Now, I mean, you would think that Dee Dee Alexander would be in here. Cattle Baron's Ball. I mean, the Alexanders, their ranch is the biggest ranch in all of Texas, in the entire country. So, so, you know, but no. In fact, the only name that really even rang a bell was this De Beers, because the De Beers, that's the diamond mine family. So that was on this, where she is Virginia Burke De Beer. She's under the underwriting committee. But other than that, I mean, and then I saw Coy Durham is friends with this Kelly Garlock. But see, all of the rest, they're all, you know, social climbing. I mean, these are like real housewife candidate type of thing. I mean, a lot of them are having it all career women, but it's all nouveau riche, all of it. There's not one single last name I recognize in any of this stuff. So as I say, I'll be going through trying to piece together, you know, all of these different people who have been involved in this since the beginning. You know, Ann Corrigan, Mary Leslie Wells, who are they? What are their husbands doing? I mean, this is a huge project. I had some money for Ancestry.com. It would be a little bit easier because I have to do everything manually because I have no money. In fact, Christmas really hit me hard because, and then they've reduced my hours again. I'm not even 30 hours per week. I mean, I can't, I'm going to get into debt again. Not that I was out of it. So, you know, I mean, I'm just like, you know what? Screw you all. Screw you all. You think this is so funny. I mean, it really is disgusting. Disgusting. I mean, you know, my mom, my siblings, par for the course. Even my cousins, par for the course. I mean, the jealousy and the hatred and you know, I mean, this is what everybody's not understanding. You want to become part of the ruling elite. You want to, you know, rise and get more money, have a nicer house, you know, become higher in the social climbing ring. It's very self-destructive, and particularly this destroy or be destroyed. I mean, this I'm really not a person, not a conflictual person. I always want to help people, but you want to destroy me? You want to destroy my children? I mean, this whole thing with you poor Sasha Riley. Oh yeah, all of these kids, in the foster care, in adoption services, they're considered trash. Who cares what happens to them? And that's what you're trying to turn me. I mean, I loved it. I loved it in my divorce. And in the divorce decree, I keep on telling Foxcroft and Cobham Hall, I'm like, you guys, you got a jurisprudence, you got a court case that claims that these schools, your school, is for juvenile delinquents and drug addicts. You might want to be concerned about that little thing. I mean, it was ludicrous. I was laughing when I saw it. I'm like, and I've told my siblings and my family, I'm like, if I'm white trash, that means that y'all are white trash as well. And I can tell you, I'm not white trash. I won't say anything about y'all. Because, see, the thing is it doesn't matter. You guys can have me living in a tent on the street in total squalor. I'll still have more class in my little pinky finger than any of y'all. I mean, this whole thing that you think you live in a mansion, you think you have a whole bunch of yachts and airplanes, and you eat at expensive restaurants and stuff like that, and you think that makes you better than anybody else? No, not at all. So anyway, that's what I'll be going into. I mean, because the thing is we've got the ruling elite in every single country. I mean, state, excuse me. God, I really have my blood pressure that's going down. Oh, I gotta get something to eat. But the the ruling elite in Arizona, Louisiana, well, Texas as well, because I don't know that many people in Texas. I also have a cousin who worked for Halliburton in Texas. His youngest daughter died of a drug overdose. Nobody found her for a week. Running away. I mean, this whole thing of, destroy or be destroyed, it's a real dirty game. Oh, here's a Vanderbilt. Nancy Bond Vanderbilt. So there is somebody I recognize. That was 1993. Well, we'll have to check her out. Because you have the Vanderbilts and then you have the Vanderbilts. But see, so yeah, to see what's been going on. As I say, this is a real social climbing organization that was started in the 70s and has been used. You have all of the different ranches. I loved it. You have South Fork. That's the Dallas and stuff. So, but as I say, it's a lot of work because some of these, you have to also who are their husbands, and then some of these names like Jan Andrews. Well, Jan Andrews, I'm gonna need a lot of that. I'm gonna have to, do some research and stuff. So, if any of you kids want to help me, bienvenido. I could use the help because all the old folks have hung me out to dry. So they're all crap shooting their fortunes and thinking that they can, keep this little protection racket going and everybody will be, at least until they die, they'll be okay. Then guess what? I don't think God is going to be so oh, but I said that I believed in you. I said that I believed in you the entire time I was on the planet. I went around doing the most horrific things, like satanic, but I believed in God. So I'm good to go? Yeah, I don't think it works that way. Sorry, guys.